Morning, everybody. Morning. And sorry to be late, but we had some technical problems here. I heard a long discussion this morning, a very long discussion on the Breakfast Club. The discussants included Mr. Siaga, Mr. Lloyd B. Smith, and what's his name now? Mr. used to be at the university. And the issue, the role and impact of class and colour in the upcoming elections. And I suppose that the impression that one had was a concern. Mr. Siagas had an article on the subject over the weekend. And Mr. Lloyd B. Smith, we tried getting Mr. Lloyd B. Smith on this program, but we weren't able to. But the impression that one gets is that a new spin is being put on the ball. With Sister P, Prime Minister, what is being suggested is that a lot of people in I suppose, who fancy themselves upper class and middle class are turning away from supporting of the PNP because they disapprove of Sister P on class grounds. This sounds, it sounds like good spin, It might well persuade some people to stand behind her on class grounds. But I should have thought that any intelligent person who has the interest of this country at heart would be saying that class and colour do not provide a basis for casting your vote in favour of some person or some party. What matters is performance. That is what is going to make the difference between disaster and prosperity. Not class, not colour. There are incompetent people who are born with a white skin, and no less incompetent people who are born with black skins. And there are highly competent people born with white skins, and no less competent people born with black skins. There are competent people born into the middle classes and into the upper classes, so-called. And there are incompetent people born among them. And the same thing is true of people in the so-called lower classes. And so what matters is not whether Sister P is from the bowels of the working class. Although, let me say, that when she proclaimed herself from the bowels of the working class, one hoped that here was a person from such beginnings, finding herself Prime Minister of this country, who would think in terms of a vision, who would have conjure up a vision for this country, radically different from what is going on at the moment, and would seek to use her power as Prime Minister to create a Jamaica in which the rights of people, and one would hope people of whatever class and of whatever color, would be respected and, as they have not been respected in this country, and particularly the rights of the working, so-called working classes, the poor people from ghetto areas and so on, who are not respected by agencies of the state and who are treated in all sorts of foul ways. One should have hoped that she would have seen it as her mission to put an end to that and to create opportunities for such people to rise out of their poverty. I mean, it's one thing to talk about loving the poor. Loving the poor is not the thing. Creating an economic environment in which the poor can work their way out of poverty. That is what we need. Hold on just a moment. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Yes, this issue of race and class, of color and class. The latest spin that is being put on the politics of this country, and the suggestion that the election is going to turn on the issue of race and color. Is going to turn on the issue of class and color. And that those persons who are critical of Sister P are not critical because of the failure to perform. A failure, I mean, anybody who is critical of the people's can find in the last 18 years of its performance an abundance of reasons why they should be so critical. And not only was Sister P a member of the government in all those years, but she came offering the possibility of something new. She spoke about a commitment to the Jamaican people. Her first commitment to the Jamaican people was to correct the brutal abuses of human rights that have taken place in this country under the rule of that government. And she has, so far as I am aware, done nothing about it. Nothing that promises to bring to fruition that promise that she made. promised to do something about corruption. What has she done? So far as I'm aware, absolutely nothing. But anybody who is critical of her is to be seen as being critical because of class and colour. Now, what the other member of the panel this morning, of course, was Don Robotham. Right? And he was in his element. What interests me here is what is Mr. Siaga doing in this league? I don't know. I find it very interesting. Anyway, there will always be spinners, and some will spin more than others. There's a story in the Gleaner's Business section this morning about a company called Olinc, of which we've been hearing for quite some time. It's been chased out of Jamaica, in effect, and has now found, I might call it, refuge in the Turks and Caicos Islands. It's licensed also in Panama, as I understand it. And one has been hearing stories about some quite extraordinary returns, that it's trading in currency. One gathers that it has been making some extraordinary, or providing its investors with some extraordinary returns. This young man, Mr. what's his name, David White, is it? David Smith, yes. Mr. David Smith, he used to work in one of the leading financial houses in this country, JMMB. And my understanding is that he did brilliantly for them. And he has started this company. People I know have been putting a lot of money into it. And from the stories that one hears, it's been paying some fantastic returns on their money. Well, they wouldn't have him in Jamaica, you know. They outlawed him, and he had to go. But he's still operating from the Turks and Caicos Islands, as I said. And people here in Jamaica are still putting money. They're still putting money into his company. And one suspects that it is having an impact. Well, recently the government has been moving down the interest rates payable on government bonds. They've been under pressure to do so because it has been making the government's borrowing more expensive putting a heavy stress on the budget and so on. As was pointed out many years ago by Professor what's his name? Can't remember. In a paper he did for the PSOJ, Professor Stephen Hankey, in a paper he did for the PSOJ, when the interest rates go down, the pressure mounts on the Jamaican dollar, because people then want to move out of Jamaican dollars, because holding your savings, your money, your capital in Jamaican dollars is a very risky affair, because the dollar has over the years slipped quite considerably. In 1989, when this government came into office, the dollar was $5.50 to the US dollar. It is now pushing 68 to the US dollar. It's 67.50 something. And but for massive interventions on the part of the Bank of Jamaica, would probably have been there already. And the part of the reason for that is that the dollar tends to inflate rapidly in Jamaica, and unless there is a compensating rate of interest, that, I mean, if inflation is 7% and you're getting 10% on your money, that's not much of a margin. You could do better putting it into US dollars and getting 4 or 5%, whatever, right? So that is what people feel under pressure to do when the rates come down, and they're finding this company, Olinc, is facilitating that process and providing people. I don't know where Dr. Davis is going to put the dollar, to put the rate of exchange, in order to be able to rake in funds, as Dr. Goodspin would say, to rake in the funds he needs to support the dollar, the budget. So it seems that, we're in a little bit of a problem here too. We take a break, we come back shortly. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, Mom. How are you?
Yes, Mr. Perkins, I have a
I'm not hearing a word out here.
Yes, hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
All right, I have an issue in regarding about the Caribbean CXC Council.
Caribbean what?
CXC, where you do the overseas examination.
Oh, this, yes.
Yes. I did my CXC English language last year, June.
Your CXC?
English language, last year, June.
Oh, I didn't get that word.
Well, I said I did my CXC English language last year, June.
Over the line?
I don't hear you.
English language?
Yes, English language, last year, June.
Oh, what language?
English language. Yes. All right. I went to the school where I sat that exam, and I got the result in terms that it is ungraded, meaning that the Overseas Examination Board cannot find the paper what I've done this 60 English language. I sent back to them my receipt that I have sit the exam, and up till this day, I have not received any reply that I have passed, failed, or anything. And this is from June, and now it's January.
So what is the explanation that is offered?
There's no explanation they can give me. At the school where I start the exam, they said that they wrote to the CXC board and they sent to Barbados to get the information. Up to this present day, I cannot get nowhere.
Well, I don't understand that.
And it is so ironic. I'm in the dark now. I don't know where to go or what to do. Hello?
Yes, you've spoken to the school.
Yes.
And what is the explanation that they offer? Did they send the papers to...
Well, I've spoken to the secretary. She told me that she did the letter to send to Barbados.
Which letter?
Well, apparently whenever a situation like these arise, they send to a letter to the board in Barbados, where the papers has been what you should say, been marked.
Yes, but are they saying that that they are sure that your paper went to Barbados?
Well, yes, because the receipt. Because normally when you do the exam, you get a receipt that you have sit the exam on that particular day.
Yes, but that receipt doesn't tell you that the exam documents were sent to Barbados.
Well, I have the receipt to show that I done the exam.
That you did the exam, yes.
So I sent a copy to the school that they can send to Barbados.
But the error could have been made here.
Exactly.
It's possible that paper didn't go to Barbados.
But why is it taking so long?
Well,
these are the questions I've been asking.
It seems to me that well, I would assume that it is taking so long because the examiners, for whatever reason, haven't got that paper.
So, Mr. Perkins, I'm in this situation now. If I'm to look a job, I don't have a mark in the English language. I'm just going to sit here and just wait.
Well, I don't know. I imagine that there must be a local board, a local CXC board.
Yes, that's on. I think it's on Piccadilly.
Yes. Have you spoken to them about it?
Well, I called them directly. They cannot give me any information. They said I have to go through the school where I start the exam. See, they're having me around this circle. Start the exam. I call the school on several occasions. They can't give me anything.
Which school is this?
This is Institute of Higher Learning. That's in Crossroads.
Institute of Higher Learning?
Yes.
Well, I really don't know what to tell you to do about this.
Because, I mean, normally when you have to do an exam, you'd have to pay for this fee in November. November has passed.
Oh, yes. You paid an examination fee.
Yes. If I'm to resit it, I'd have to pay for it in November. November has passed for me to even to do it over in June. And I don't have nothing to show that if I passed or failed or what I must do.
I don't know.
And this is a sad situation.
Yes.
And I'm not only the person in this circle. There are many other students out there.
Is that so?
Yes. That is what I get to understand. There's many other students out there in a situation like this. And this problem needs to be resolved.
Have you spoken to the Ministry of Education about it?
No, I haven't got to that level.
Well, I suggest that you try that, particularly if this is something that is happening to numbers of students.
It seems as if I have to address this board because this is very sad.
It is.
It is really sad.
But before you give up, try the Ministry of Education. Right? And if this is something that is going on, that happens to numbers of students, then how can you sit that exam again, confident that your papers are going to be submitted to the examiners?
Exactly.
You know? And you've paid to sit an exam. You have suffered loss. You're suffering some loss as a result. I don't know, maybe I don't know. I really don't know.
It's a very complicated situation.
It is, yes.
It's very complicated,
yes.
Because I'm here in the dark and I don't know where to turn.
Yes.
Because if I'm to resit, I have to wait till 2008 to resit this exam.
Yes. Yes, boy, I don't know. Maybe you should take legal advice on it.
Well, I'm going to try and see if I get through to Ministry of Education or to drive down there to get this situation addressed.
All right. There's so much incompetence in this country, you see. And so much uncaring.
I tell you.
You know.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Perkins.
Okay, Mom.
All right.
Okay. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Perkins. Good morning.
Morning to you, sir.
And your listeners. And also your listeners.
Oh, you're a listener. Oh, you're saying good morning to the listeners, too.
Yes.
Yes.
About the cricket. 2 quick points. I'm on the job. 2 quick points about the cricket, the World Cup cricket.
Yes.
And down by Chilana there.
Uh-huh.
The readiness is roughly over 75% at this time.
That what?
The readiness of the cricket is over 75%.
Is over 75%?
Yeah.
Well, that's not too bad then. Is it?
Also, the second point about the people benefiting is the citizens close by benefit.
Yes.
The citizens that should benefit from the World Cup.
Uh-huh.
They are not benefited. But they say they're trying to get the Prime Minister, our man, Mr. Delano Franklin, and they are not getting to no one.
What they want to get them for?
To deal with it, they want to run, so they say they have over 7 products in yam that can deal with the yam.
What is that?
They say they can deal with the yam over 7 different products or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that could even contribute to the World Cup, that they could get some benefit.
You mean they want to prepare yam products?
Yeah.
For sale to the visitors?
Yeah.
But I don't know how many visitors they're going to be at that Trelawney Stadium, because they're going there just for the opening ceremony, and there's some practice matches to be played there. But the real big thing is going to be at Savannah Park.
Well, I'll only this few points out to tell Mr. Perkins, and things are running well. And second point about the cruise ship, how much cruise ship coming to Jamaica and also return back. So I just hang up and listen, I'm on the job.
Yes.
Yeah, if I have over 11,000 people not working, something like that in Jamaica here.
11,000?
Not working out of a job.
Well, I wouldn't doubt that. Probably more than that, if you ask me.
And cruise ship, how much cruise ship also come to Jamaica within 2005, 2006?
Well, when the cruise ships come to Jamaica, how many of the tourists come off of them?
Well, not even in that year. But
and even among those who come off, how much do they spend?
Mr. Perkins, I'm on the job, so I will just hang up and listen.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hello?
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 Yes?
Wilmot?
Yeah, Mr. Wonken, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Oh, not too bad.
Good.
Look here. Before you go on to what you've called about.
Yes.
A lady just called me. She sat an English exam, CXE. Right? I think it must have been last year, in June, right? She has heard nothing about the results.
Since June of last year?
June of last year. And when she checks with apparently the people in Barbados haven't got her papers, right? And nobody can give her any information about it. Hold on just one moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here, sir. No, I'm asking you this because of your profession.
Okay.
Right? She is not going to be able to sit the exam again in June this year. Because, whatever it is, the preliminary steps would have to have been taken before now, right? Including the payment of the exam fee. So, it looks as if she's going to be held up until next year, right? And, these people can't give her any account of what has happened.
I'm assuming that she did not sit the exam.
That what?
I'm assuming
yes.
She had not sat the exam through a school, through a high school. That it was some extramural type of activity.
Yes, it was. It was, what's it called again? The Institute of Higher Learning. It's somewhere in the Crossroads area, I believe.
Right, so there would be some contractual relationship between herself and the organization.
I should have thought so.
And that is how she will have to proceed.
Yes.
And if she's to seek and succeed at damages, then she'd have to prove that she has lost something that was reasonably foreseeable, or ought to have been reasonably foreseeable. But it's going to be based in contract.
Would you speak up a bit for me?
I'm saying it's going to be based in contract, what the relationship was between the organization through which she sat the exam and herself.
Yes.
It likely has nothing to do with the examining body itself.
Yes.
I say likely because a lot depends on whether her organization, her hosting organization, had forwarded the papers
absolutely
to the examination organization, Yes. So it's contract that she's going to have to rely upon, whether written or expressed.
And she has a cause of action.
I would think so.
Yes.
I would think so.
Again, so many of these kinds of occurrences happen. I mean, I'm not telling you about that in relation to examination papers.
Right.
But another example of it is the RGD. Right? A number of persons have called me recently to tell me about applying for birth certificates. Right?
Yes.
They get back a birth certificate with a wrong name on it.
Yeah.
And the RGD is requiring them to pay either to have a name change done or to whatever it is.
Yes.
Right? Now, in two cases at least, I asked the persons whether they had previously had passports. Right? And they tell me yes. So, and passports in what they regard as their correct names.
Yes.
Correct spelling, whatever.
Yes.
Which implies that there was a birth certificate registered. Somewhere. Right? And that a mistake has been made within the RGD.
Yes.
But they're requiring them to pay more money.
For their error.
Yes.
Yes.
Right? I mean...
Not good. I mean, one has to accept that in transforming an organization to what might be described as a sort of digital or data-based organization,
yes,
you will expect errors to be made, transposing errors, etc. But to charge a customer for your own error is really unacceptable.
Yes.
And then the length of time that it takes, the inconvenience and the opportunities that one forgoes whilst trying to correct that kind of thing is horrendous.
But therefore, I mean, what should happen is that these people should take them to court.
Yeah, and a lot of times...
If they can do these things and get away with them, well, why not continue to do them?
That's exactly the problem. And unfortunately, our court system facilitates that because it's such a laborious and bureaucratic and slow process.
Yes.
And costly.
Yes. That
it almost makes no sense for someone to take, as you say, an organization like the RGD to court.
Look here.
A lot of times, Wilmot, sorry. A lot of times, people pay traffic fines just to avoid having to go to court
absolutely,
time and time,
yes, that's quite true.
time again.
Yes, that's quite true.
You know?
But look here, that reminds me of all this talk about abandoning the Privy Council and going to the Caribbean Court, right? Led by persons who have been in government in this country for 18 years and have managed to do nothing to make it possible for the people of this country to secure justice and to do so with ease and convenience.
Well, Wilmot, I view a Caribbean court ultimately to be a good thing. Let me start at that point. However, at this moment in time, it must be a very dangerous thing to do, and therefore I'm against it. But I see...
A dangerous thing?
Yes. I see the move towards this Caribbean court and the abolition of appeals to the Privy Council. I see that as a smokescreen. It's something to blame other than oneself for the mess that we're in.
Yes.
In other words, they say, oh, it's a Privy Council who is messing you up.
Is it really? What has the Privy Council done to mess us up?
Well, this is it. You know, the Privy Council works perfectly well, in my view. And at this stage, we have so many other things to spend our money on than trying to establish a whole new court. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like this very, very silly cricket World Cup.
Absolutely.
A nice thing to do. A wonderful event to have. But not now, because we are broke. So your priorities are all messed up.
But not only that. One of the problems of our court judicial system, as I see it, is the link, the very strong link between the judicial system
and the politicians
and the politics, a politics that is tribalistic and corrupt.
I agree 100%, you see, Wilmot, right? And I'm an attorney. And I'm saying that without any hesitation.
Yes.
And I agree with you.
No.
But, you know...
Is it that the problem that the government sees is its lack of control over the Privy Council? The Prime Minister here has nothing whatever to do with the appointment of judges in the Privy Council. Right?
Well, I think there are a number of reasons why I would object to the abolition of the Privy Council. I think one of them is a close link between the appointment of our judiciary, all aspects of it. The fact that they want to control appointments, etc.
Yes.
But I also believe that it's a smoke and mirrors game.
Yes.
Blame somebody else for the mess we put you in.
Yes.
You know, that's my position on that.
And then now, the Attorney General is telling us that they will entrench the Caribbean Court in the Constitution. But how can you entrench a court in your Constitution which doesn't really... it's not really a Jamaican court, right? It's a Caribbean court. And if, for some reason, Trinidad and Barbados and St. Lucia and whatever might decide that they are no longer interested in this court, right? How can Jamaica keep that court going to satisfy the entrenchment in the Constitution?
When its existence depends on the participation
when it depends upon their support.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense, Wilmot. It makes absolutely no sense, particularly against a backdrop of other priorities that are so much more important in society.
Absolutely.
You know,
we should be wanting at this point to get our courts so organized, A, in relation to the appointment of judges, B, in relation to ensuring that the processes of the court are quick and relatively inexpensive.
Just get some good court reporters.
Yes.
Get the courts covered by court reporters and get transcripts out.
Well, that is one of, when I was a youngster, at the Gleaner back in the 1950s. Court reporting was quite a different process from what it is now, you know. I mean, when a case of importance, something like the Crawl case, was being heard in the court, the Gleaner would have maybe 3 pages of coverage, you know.
Yes, quite apart from the official court reporter.
Yes.
And with technology too, you know, Wilmot, you would think that capturing verbatim what is said in court would be so much easier than it was 30 years ago.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
But am I not right in saying that judges are still taking notes in longhand?
Very much so. Very much so. You know, Wilmot, I practiced for 10 years in Calgary, Alberta, in their court system.
Alberta, in Canada?
Alberta. And back in I think it was 85 or 86, the Appeal Court of Canada, which is based in Ottawa, set up an experiment whereby they used satellite transmission, uplink and downlink by video, whereby they presented appeals from the courthouse in Calgary, Alberta, to the panel sitting in Ottawa by video.
Yes.
Now, in my view, if we were serious about addressing the cost of making appeals to the Privy Council, I would be lobbying the lords in the Privy Council and doing the things to make legislation accommodate it.
Yes.
To do that kind of appeal from Jamaica to the Privy Council.
Yes.
Because essentially, these are legal arguments.
Absolutely.
You're not presenting evidence.
Hold on just a moment for me, please. Okay, thank you very much. We're back with you, Mr. Wonkin.
I'm here.
And I seriously wonder whether the government in this country is really interested in having justice available and readily available to the Jamaican people.
Well, that's a big question, Wilmot. And, you know, I happen to have taken part in a discussion this morning on the Breakfast Club.
I heard it.
Which I think is a very interesting discussion.
Do you mean the one about class and race?
Yeah, and up to now I can't figure out...
class and colour?
And colour. I can't yet figure out what a reasonable definition of class in Jamaica is, at least in the context of the discussion this morning. But why I mentioned that discussion now is because of the high expectations that we had of the Prime Minister coming into office. The expectations that human rights in particular.
But she promised it.
She promised it. It would have been, to me, it was a fundamental pillar of her taking office.
Yes.
And those hopes have been entirely dashed. And I made the point this morning, and I've been reflecting on it since. I made the point that it's her trustworthiness and not Mr. Golding's that is more in question for me. And I think that is something that she needs to address really quickly.
Yes.
You know, because I think she has failed to deliver. And I believe that may explain quite a bit the disaffection that the People's National Party is seeing.
Yes.
Because it has been said that their hopes were pinned on her. So to the extent that she has betrayed the trust and failed to have delivered on the expectations and failed to have lived up to her promises, I think to that extent the PNP will see
it's not just that she has failed to live up to her promise, but that she has failed even to attempt to live up. What has she done?
No, but then, Wilmot, you're suggesting something a lot more sinister. If you're suggesting that she has failed to even address the promise, then what you're saying is the promise was a fool-up business.
Well,
not necessarily a promise earnestly.
Is there anything to suggest that she has attempted in any way to fulfill that promise that she made to the Jamaican people?
Well, frankly, Wilmot, I can't think of any. But what it brings to my mind is Omar Davis's run with it. In other words, I think while she may have been genuine in her promise, political expediency has caused her to run with it.
Yes.
And to me, that is really a bigger betrayal than ever.
But I don't think
that calls for me into question whether she can be trusted.
I don't think that there can be anything in this country today more fundamental than that issue of human rights.
No, there can't be, Wilmot.
And the idea of sacrificing human rights in order, for example, to control crime. This has been going on now for some years and has shown no promise whatever.
The Gun Court Act. The Gun Court Act.
Yes. You remember that? 1974.
And it
read because it read.
We've not been able to purge from the society ill effects of the Gun Court Act.
Yes.
We've not been able to do that.
And not only that, the Gun Court Act has totally failed in its promise of eliminating guns from Jamaica. There are more guns knocking around today than there were when the Gun Court Act was framed.
Absolutely. It has done nothing to curb crime.
Yes. But not only that, I have a problem with this this firearms legislation, right? Because it seems to me that if the government of Jamaica or of any state is going to prevent me, its citizen, from being able to defend himself, then that government must undertake to defend me and to do so effectively. But when you look at the murder figures in Jamaica today and the number of people being shot by gunmen on the streets and so on, that just is not happening.
Well, Wilmot, the only person that the firearms legislation prevents from having a firearm
is the law-abiding person.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I'm not advocating a free-for-all. You must have some registration, some control.
Yes.
But it's really very, very difficult to get a firearm in Jamaica.
Yes.
Very difficult.
And particularly
legally, I should say,
among the people who are most exposed to the danger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We have this thing completely turned upside down, Wilmot. And the whole paradigm in Jamaica is designed to make things difficult. But
you know what that is about. That is class prejudice.
I have my own view on that, but what you're thinking?
That is class prejudice.
It is class prejudice.
The little man.
But it is also a presumption of guilt.
Yes.
The bureaucracy that we see at our wharves, the bureaucracy that we see with NEPA, with subdivision approvals, with every aspect of Jamaican life, is predicated on an assumption that the citizen is trying to steal from the government.
Yes. Rather
than a presumption that you mean well, that you're an honest person, until you prove yourself.
Until there is evidence to the contrary.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if we make that paradigm shift, Wilmot, I think we will see a different Jamaica.
Yes.
And I suggest to you that paradigm is born in our high schools, going way back, which was designed to weed you out.
Yes.
Rather than to pass you. And I think it's a fundamental difference between a North American education and an English-based education.
Yes.
Because a North American education will give you chance after chance after chance after chance to succeed, to pass. The English-based education, the traditional education, in my view, was designed to fail you and stream you somewhere else.
And send you off to chop sugar cane.
Yeah. And because of that, I think that pervades everything we do in Jamaica. You are guilty. You're to be selected out.
Yes.
And I think all our legislation, all our systems, everything is predicated on that belief.
But this discussion about class prejudice, Mr. Wonkin, the impression I get is that Sister P is being victimized because she's perceived as being of the wrong class. This was the essence of Mr. Smith's article, right? In the Observer a couple of days ago. Now, is this spin? Or if not, what is it? Does it make sense?
Well, Wilmot, I'm really a little ambivalent on that. I think it's a stretch to say she's victimized because of class. I think it's a stretch. I mean, I don't see the legitimacy in an argument that says she's being victimized because of class.
Yes.
I just don't buy that.
Well, what evidence is there of that?
I don't know. In fact, the evidence is quite to the contrary.
Yes.
If I were arguing, I'd be saying that she is a role model. She's an example of how persons from even the low class in Jamaica, if in fact that's what she is, can rise to whatever heights they wish.
I should have thought so.
So I would be looking at that in completely the opposite context.
Well, how many people in this country have said that they would not accept her because of where she came from? Isn't it to the contrary?
Absolutely to the contrary.
Has it not been suggested, widely suggested? And the pollsters have been saying this, although I don't go along with pollsters.
Well, I don't ignore them, but I understand you.
But the argument has been that there was a massive support for her.
She was unbeatable, Wilmot. She was unbeatable.
Yes.
She was 70-odd% popular.
Yes. And but that has been diminishing. That support has been diminishing as time has gone on. Yeah. Because people do not see the performance matching up anywhere near to their expectations.
That, in fact, is the essence of the point that I raised towards the end of the program.
Yes.
Is that she has failed to live up to that. And that is what accounts for the detraction. Not a question of her being a woman, not a question of class.
No.
It's a question of her not being able to fulfill her expectations.
Yes.
Or the expectations people had of her.
I mean, she seems... The impression that she gives is that the government is not within her control at all.
Yeah.
She's not a prime minister.
Well,
she's a figurehead.
It's either that conclusion or that she's very much in control and has decided to run with it.
Well,
one of the two.
Whichever. Right?
One of the two.
Yes.
Wilmot, I called you.
I was just about to say to you that you've been on this program now for some quite considerable time. And I haven't a clue what it is that you wanted to come on about.
I always enjoy the discussions, Wilmot.
I mean, I don't understand. I mean, how could you have taken so much time
to begin? Well, I want to digress even before coming to the point, and it's just a short thing. Came to my attention the other day by traveling up in Sligo. Yes. This huge stadium in the middle of nowhere. I thought it was a alien thing.
Yes.
It just jumped out at you. This huge stadium in Sligoville, Wilmot.
Yes.
I'm guessing a seating capacity of maybe 10 or 15,000 persons.
Oh, I see. This is a Sligoville one.
Yes, Sligoville.
Oh, I see.
Built by the Chinese.
Yes. Hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back.
I'm here.
You're talking about the Sligoville Stadium.
This stadium. It's in the middle of what I would perceive to be deep rural country, with a seating capacity of about 15,000, 10,000 maybe.
Yes.
With no apparent parking facilities, with no apparent busing or other general transportation systems.
Yes.
And I'm wondering for what purpose. No, it's true, Wilmot, that the Chinese built this as charity, let's say.
Yes.
Right, because I think Mr. Knight organized it. But wouldn't it have been better to beg them to build schools?
Yes.
Houses?
I should have thought so.
Police stations? A courthouse? A library? I mean, what on earth is the purpose of a stadium in Sligoville that seats 10 to 15,000 people that you can't get to?
I don't know, sir. I've been wondering now for some time.
And it brings me to mind, Wilmot, still not what I called you about. We have hotels going up all over the place on the north coast. But where are the housing for persons who are going to work in these hotels?
Again, sir.
Aren't we encouraging more slums and more...
Absolutely. As has happened in Montego Bay. Right? And the Ocho-Rios.
Wilmot, it's very common everywhere else in the world, when a hotel makes an application to come in and build and get the permits that are required, etc. You say to them, okay, you want to build a hotel? We need a hospital. We need a clinic.
Yes.
We need a police station. We need 50 houses. Quid pro quo.
Yes.
Instead, we put up these hotels in places that we don't have a population base to support.
Yes.
You get unplanned communities. You get communities that are very difficult to police.
Yes.
You get crime coming out of them. And it's just stupid. It's completely stupid.
Yes.
It's short-sighted. It's bad planning. It's the worst of all worlds.
Well, look here. Aren't we seeing evidence of this in the vicinity, in and around Montego Bay?
Of course. Of course, Wilmot. The whole of Flankers area is a consequence of people trying to gravitate to where work is.
Yes.
And not being able to either afford the accommodation that exists or that there's no accommodation. People don't want to go live in slums, Wilmot.
That is quite true.
People don't want that. But they want to go where the work is because they have to.
If they're going to be working in the hotels, so they're going to have to live somewhere.
Of course.
Right?
Of course, and they will establish their own community.
Yes.
There would be no sewage facilities. There likely won't be any utilities, electricity, etc.
Yes.
But
and you're likely to get a recurrence of the flankers and the...
Absolutely. It's unavoidable, Wilmot.
Yes.
It's not likely, it's unavoidable.
Yes.
And our planners can't see this.
Well...
They want to jump up on a stage and say, look at the direct
We clearly don't have any planners. Because I gather that a hotel in the Negril area has been... Well, they have a plan. They're in the process now of putting up a building that is going to be dangerously in the flight path of
the aircraft.
Yes.
And then you'll hear that we are unlucky when that crash occurs. We are unlucky.
Yes.
Why us? But Wilmot, let me come to why I call you now.
No, but hold on. Before you come to why you called me.
Okay.
You were discussing the stadium at Sligoville. I thought you were going to see this as a model for the one that is now being built in Trelawney.
Well, that's another very sore issue, Wilmot. I mean, I don't know if people realize, that not one test game is going to be played there.
Yes.
And let me say this, I think a stadium in Trelawney is a good thing. But not now. We have so many more important, pressing social problems to deal with.
Yes, priorities, sir.
It's just asinine. It can't be said that a stadium is a bad thing, Wilmot. It can't be said that a stadium will be absolutely useless.
Well, a stadium will be useful only to the extent that people will find use for it.
Yeah, but right? My point though is even if people can and will use it, there were so many other things you had to forego.
Absolutely.
That are so much more important to this society.
$109 million is funding the preparation for the World Cup. Yeah. And that is just the stadia and the roads around Sabina Park, I suppose. Right?
If we say, as a society, if we accept, and I'm beginning to get the feeling that we're accepting, that education must be the priority amongst all priorities.
Yes.
If we come to that conclusion, then how we pay our teachers, how we equip our schools, how we build our schools, how we get our children to school, how we feed the children at school, all of these things must be hugely more important than a stupid
You know, Mr. Wonken, one of the things that we consistently fail to recognize is that our greatest asset in this, as in any other country, is not bauxite or petroleum or any such thing. It is the people of the country.
Must be Wilmot.
Right? And if we had understood that, then teachers would have been among the highest paid professionals in this country.
But must be.
Right?
And now we're losing our
because
teachers.
we'd want to get the very best people. Right? Any person making a choice between the law and teaching would say, no, hold on, I'm going over there. Right?
But Wilmot, the sad thing, and it's why I'm an advocate of a separation of powers.
Yes.
I do not hear Maxine Henry saying, no way you're going to get my support for a stadium until my teachers are paid.
Absolutely.
I don't hear that.
Yes.
No way you're going to get a stupid stadium until the bathrooms in the blasted schools are fixed.
You heard about 2 children in a school falling into a pit latrine?
Yeah.
2 little children?
That's what inspired this last comment. I don't hear her saying that. And that's because of the parliamentary system that we have, the system of government we have. I don't care who else wants to contradict that. It's why I believe we have this.
Yes.
It's because our parliamentarians are so beholden to the Prime Minister for their future that they dare not make such an utterance.
Yes. Boy,
Imagine Wilmot.
Mr. Wonken, all the same, I have never had anybody on this program who spent so much time here, and up to now I don't know why he called.
Well, can I read something for you very quickly?
Yes.
This is in the Business Observer, and you've already commented on it. The Gestapo-like invasion of David Smith's office last year, as conducted by the Financial Intelligence Arm of the Financial Investigation Division, was a vulgar abuse of state power and highly reflective of the actions of a totalitarian state.
Oh, that's in the Observer?
Yes.
I didn't see that. I read the one from the Gleaner.
Hang on. It was designed to destroy both the company and the man's reputation in one fell swoop. It was even more frightening, given that to date, no clear statement has emerged as to the exact legal infringement committed by the company.
Yes.
The cease and desist order served on the company was somewhat akin to brute force when it was clear that the intended effect of the raid to create a run on the company's office did not materialize.
It totally failed.
That is Ennis. Errol Ennis, State Minister of Agriculture, in a letter to the editor.
Yes, I heard something about it on the radio, but I didn't see that.
Now, Wilmot, quite apart from everything else, the design of the raid was to cause a run. The design of the raid was to damage a man's company and his reputation.
Yes.
So the intention...
And not only that, possibly to cause losses to the people who had invested in the company.
Of course, without being able to identify the exact infringement.
Yes.
Which means there's absolutely no possibility that they've said to Mr. Smith, here are the breaches you're committing. How are you going to address them?
Yes. Yes.
Instead, like FinSat, like the financial meltdown in the early 90s, mid to early 90s.
Yes.
The intention, Wilmot. That's what bothers me about this.
Yes.
I don't have any money with Mr. Olinc, with Mr. Smith. But the intention of an arm of the government, described by Errol Ennis, Minister, was to destroy this man's
business. It's a hell of a statement coming out of that, Minister, sir.
His reputation.
Yes.
In the consequence of that, have people lose huge amounts of money.
Yes.
Without being able to identify a single infraction.
Yes.
That's incredible.
But you realize, of course, what the problem really is. I have been hearing about this company for a long time. Right? And among the persons that I've heard about it from are some personal friends of mine, right, who have invested money with the company. And they tell me some fantastic stories.
Of returns
that they're getting.
Yes.
Right? And I say to myself, look here, the government has brought down interest rates. Right? Every time the government brings down interest rates, there is pressure on the dollar. And that pressure is mounting. The Bank of Jamaica has to be intervening, and it seems to me that however much they intervene, as long as the rates stay down, there's going to be pressure on the dollar because money is going to move out into the US dollar. Now, this company is providing an alternative to government paper.
Sure.
Right? Which I suspect that people are going to go for.
Yes.
In which event, how does Dr. Davis balance his budget?
No, but Wilmot, you're touching on something, you know.
Eh?
You're touching on something. It is this. That the government paper and its crowding out of money that would otherwise be used for investment is a vulgar abuse of state power.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
Yes.
It's a vulgar abuse of state power. Errol Ennis is to be commended.
Absolutely.
And I congratulate the gentleman.
Absolutely.
I don't know him. I hope he makes a tremendous amount of money with Mr. Smith.
Yes, well, you know he's out of politics.
Is he?
Well, he's running again.
Oh, maybe that's what gives him some latitude, let's say.
Yes. But it nonetheless is a very strong statement.
He's to be commended, Wilmot.
Yes, absolutely.
And the article in the Business Observer is worth reading.
Yes.
Not only worth reading, but worth dwelling on.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we gloss over things. The implication of this article, of this letter, is very important.
Absolutely. And of course you hear Dr. Davis's warning.
Yes.
That he won't be doing what he did in the early 1990s.
Yes.
Supporting people who had made investments and that had collapsed on them. Money in the financial sector.
But you know, Wilmot, it raises another sinister specter.
Yeah. Hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online.
With you.
Yes, sir.
I was saying, Wilmot, that the questions that, beyond what the comments we've made about Mr. Ennis's letter.
About what?
About Mr. Ennis's letter to the editor. The other fundamental part of it is, why did the financial services do this? Who would benefit from David Smith's collapse? What was the reason? There has to be a reason.
Sorry about that. Yes.
So the question I'm asking is, why was this done? Why was this attempt?
Well, I think it had to do with, I don't know. My suspicion is that it had to do with this problem that the government is going to face in competing with Olinc for money on the domestic market.
That's my own feeling. And there are some institutions that are feeling the pinch.
Yes.
Because he's attracting so much money.
Yes.
So the big question is, who is to benefit from his collapse? Certainly not the persons who are making the money. Who is the average small man putting money with him?
Yes. That is it. I don't know. Dr. Davis seems to be very concerned about it.
Different from the speech that if he was to create a bank, it would be exactly like Central National. You remember that?
Well, yes, but of course I remember that thing. I remember that. That was Don Crawford.
Don Crawford. Think of the entrepreneurs we've lost, Wilmot.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
How many people's money has been tied up for years?
Yes.
in a finsack.
But not only that,
of their leverage.
Let me tell you something. Don Crawford and his wife have lost one hell of a lot of property, everything they owned in Jamaica. Right? Have they been prosecuted, Wilmot? Well, their prosecution is imminent. It's imminent from when? 1997? No. Well, I don't know about the 90, but the DPP made a statement in 2002, just before it was in August, and the election was in October. What he said then was that Don Crawford's prosecution was imminent. Right? He was going to be charged. Well, that was 2002. 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're now approaching the 5th year. Lord Wilmot, maybe if we had done away with the Privy Council and set up the Caribbean Court of Justice, it might have happened sooner. Might well have happened. Yes. Anyway, Wilmot. All right, sir. I'm still eternally optimistic. And I tell you something. You know what is the worst part about it? That his wife is very ill. Oh no. Has a condition that cost them a lot of money and so on. And they're having a harder and harder time as a result of all their properties being taken and sold. Some of them for some piddling sums, as I understand it. Doesn't it sort of remind you, Wilmot, of the state of the emergency and Mr. Pernell Charles not being able to attend to his wife? Yes. Absolutely. A brutal, vulgar abuse of state power. Wilmot. Somebody needs to sit down and write an account. Write a history of modern Jamaican politics and of the things that have happened. And the different things that have happened under different administrations. Yeah. Right? I think that it is quite extraordinary, some of the things that have occurred under PNP governments. I mean, people are going to say that this is, political partisanships. It's nothing of the sort. Well, Wilmot, let me say this. Let me say this, just because I know the criticism will come. Yes. My father was a PNP operative. Yes. He was recruited to bring the Chinese vote to the PNP under Norman Manley. He was virtually Mr. Manley's campaign manager. Yes. I will not vote PNP this election. Yes. I'm declaring it. And I don't consider myself a Labourite. Yes. God knows, I do not consider myself a Labourite. No, sir. I mean, intelligent people don't consider themselves either Labourites or PNP. They consider themselves Jamaicans. And they vote in the interests of their country. Well, Wilmot, right? I am passionately Jamaican. My grandmother is a black woman. My grandfather is a Chinese man. My mother's side is mixed English and German. I believe in out of many one people. I believe in Jamaica very, very much. That's my position. Yes. Yes. Wilmot, you've tolerated me. I thoroughly enjoyed having you. Thank you. Have a great day, Wilmot. Okay, thank you very much. All the best to you. You take care. And thanks for coming. Well. Okay, hello? Hello? Hello, yes, good morning to you. Mr. Perkins? Yes, sir. What, man? I'm in Odaya. Wait. Well, long time. Wait. You know a woman? Wait. Portland and Wichita together. Why have you thrown me off like this? At school. No, hold on. But I'm annoyed with you, man. What, man? Why have you thrown me off like this? No, man. I'm not sure, man. If me listen every day, I'm going to throw you away. I think, you haven't spoken to me on this program for more than a year. No.
Well, for last year. Why you beat me? You're right.
Anyway, Happy New Year to you.
Yes, and I'm wishing you the same. We wish you a Happy Christmas and prosperous New Year, and thank God we live to see this year. Mr. Perkins.
Yes.
I want to talk about Chavez.
About? Chavez?
Yes. Yes, but I won't go into that right now.
You hear that he wants to change the name of the Venezuelan Republic?
Why?
Eh?
Let me tell you, him is an international loose gallant, but we're going to that.
He wants to discard the name Bolivar.
International troublemaker, that man. More Christian trouble like that we are doing.
Yes.
But traffic control. Yes. This Lightby Smith statement about Miss Simpson.
Yes.
Lightby no better way in right, you know.
You think so?
Yes, man. Lightby is a sensible person.
Then what are you saying? That he's a sensible person, but he write stuff that don't make sense?
Yeah. You say you're some spin doctor. If you want to get out something out of the Jamaican people, why right that article?
We don't know. There have some man in this country that make Ramadan and Valentine look like they weren't trying.
You remember a great cricketer?
Ramadan and Valentine.
Yes. The ability, you know, as your speech, you and gentleman talk a while ago. I listen for about an hour and a half.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I tell you about my listen to the both of you for the next hour and a half. Because what you appear true to not talk, true from the heart, and when talking about Jamaica. And if a lot of us put Jamaica first, I forget this PAP and GLP or GLP and PMP and put the country.
Yes.
Because, what your priority? Now, education must be first, and you educate the people that can think and then develop the country.
Yes.
Look at the police force.
But look here, let me tell you something, you see. Education doesn't just go by itself.
I don't hear.
I say education.
Yes.
Doesn't go just by itself.
Yes.
It fits into a social context.
Yes.
Right? If a government of Jamaica had set out to provide the people of Jamaica, with a first-class education,
yes,
right? I think they would have to abandon the sugar industry,
Yeah, because, of course, yes.
Because where them going to get cane cutter from? Or maybe they would...
That's a totally waste of time.
Yes, right? And what we would have had to do... Hold on just a moment for me. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here.
Yes, Mr. Perkins,
yes,
as you were saying about education.
Yes. My man Jinal always tell me, say him never born for mash yet. Him born for law. Right? But what happened was that he didn't get the education that he needed. His parents couldn't afford it. And Jamaica wasn't providing that for its children.
Yes.
Right? But if we were going to educate our children properly, then we would also have to be at the same time creating the kind of economic opportunities which they needed to realize their full potential, right? But we're not doing that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We are sitting down and depending upon a 500-year-old industry. Right?
Yeah, man. That coward.
And the technologies that we are using today are not all that much different from the technologies during slavery day.
You mean it's about 400 years old?
Yes. Right?
But we in a serious problem, we are Haiti,
Yes.
Haiti and Jamaica in a serious problem. It's about 50% of the children are Haiti in our school,
Yes.
And in Jamaica, Mutty, to run a business in Jamaica and to make the grade, if you don't decide to do 15 or 18 hours a day, you cannot.
Any man who make the grade in Jamaica coming from the burials of the poor.
Yes.
He can make the grade anywhere on earth.
Yes.
This place,
but you have Jamaicans, so that left here and went away to the United States, right? Their prospects here were very poor, and when they've gone there, they've done some wonderful things,
yes,
and built themselves into quite respectable and prosperous persons.
Yeah, man, there's no question. Because I'll tell you something. We have a drive that anywhere in the world the Jamaican gone on, Mr. Perkins. Him not stop until him achieve something, I know.
Yes.
But in the Jamaica, man, we in a trouble. Yes. May I tell you something? We back to the Lightbeat Smith thing.
The what?
Lightbeat talk right now the observer.
Yes.
Lightbeat, I must say, no better. In Jamaica, nobody in this country, as Prime Minister, when we get independent, has gained the popularity. When Simpson, Miller, gained. Just last year, most of February, when I did delegating, nearly 80% of the people of the country. If she did have the ability, we have to understand, I know. You have 4 children. You see it in a drive, want to take the education and I go move out. The other one look like him, I go, the other one in a middle, one I make it. So you have to make him go learn a trade. Can't Mr. what again. If Portia have the ability, she get the chance to show the country and the world that she can run this country. And she get the chance.
Yes.
She cannot tell nobody that she don't get the chance to run the country.
Yes.
So fooling around and spinning around and that. Definitely, Mr. Perkins, she do not have the ability. She have the job, but she won't be able to keep the job. You can take a person who don't know finance to turn back manager, no?
Yes, quite true.
Don't fool yourself for no Mutty Perkins.
Quite true.
Because Jamaica would be better off today if we have a prime minister like Michael Chin, would NCB, or Chris Blackwell, or Bush Stewart. We would be better off because these men show success, them imply barrage of people.
Well, so...
As I said, she come from the bowels, fine, not wrong with that, because all of us coming from the bowels of the poor, all of us. And someone will decide, so we go and swim, and we now make sure catch we.
Yes.
And she get opportunity to make the Jamaican ladies of this country special. She say, listen, we can do it too. She feeling and she feeling miserable.
Yes.
You can just imagine the Prime Minister for England send and call the Jamaican Prime Minister up till now. You don't catch there?
Yes.
Because they don't want to the Pope because...
one of the things that has disappointed me, sir. This business of bringing God in as a kind of political a political ploy, right? She was sent by God and all Christians have to support her and then the clergy come out and round her and I mean, have some respect for God. No?
Yeah, man.
Right? If you want to play politics, find some other way of playing the politics.
Them the clergy will come around the past them. See them head totally lick. Them don't know them purpose. Them purpose is look soul for the Almighty God.
Yes.
And Portia's job is to look soul and look vote for your party.
Yes.
No God, no pint out, not no go stop. A fool, she a fool Jamaican people.
But if God had appointed her...
The department use that in the church, we deal with church sister, get plenty collection. One of the biggest racket that take place in Jamaica is people using the word of God to achieve certain goal.
Yes. Yes.
Mutty, the day of judgment, if you see some of them in the line with you, you know say at the line of hell. No, me tell you, no feel away, man. They lose respect. What earthly thing is? You have 10 house, 10 car, 10 million. When you pass off all who not forget it. What is greed and madness? In a lesser, Mr. Perkins.
Yes. Oh, well.
Life just natural. Look at you. You is just a natural person.
Well. But you know, sir,
you do this like myself.
If God sent you see, you don't have to go telling people about it, you know.
Because
all you have to do is do the job. And
exactly.
people will say, boy, this man, God have a hand in it.
Yes.
Right? Just do the job.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to go telling people how God sent you and them have to support you because it's God sent you.
I'm going to say something, Mutty. During 1972, Michael Manley win election. And a nice gentleman, Fidel Castro.
Who?
Catch him head and warm up him head and control him head and influence him to make this country become a socialist country next to Cuba. Well, the Jamaican people rise up and say, we're not going that way. And war in Portia. Venezuela Prime Minister only can help with some gas. 80% of our tourists is from the United States.
Yes.
Venezuela, we don't get not even 1% tourists from that country.
True.
This guy using an island his money to see if he can influence the Caribbean to attack America, because it's the same thing with the one down at the Middle East. Israel must wipe off of the map, and she must be careful. We know that she doing bright, but she have bright people around her who can advise her. Venezuela Prime Minister Chavez will use her. That's America. We in any trouble, because what has happened now, Mutty? This visa thing.
Yes.
Venezuela, Canada, the border. Them do next 2 years before them have a visa. Mexico is same. The cruise ship they don't have to do it in one ship. But America single-handed pick out the Caribbean because they know Chavez is trying to create so little. We know where Chavez is a friend.
You think
we don't want here such. What you say, Mr. Perkins?
You think that is what is happening?
Listen, man. Chavez hate America more than anything else. A man we put up our terrorists down now when they hear that Jamaica is my friend and we go pay the price. We not pay the price if we're in America or something. We curse America and them curse we back. We not taking a side with nobody because it's the same thing, right? A lot of us have to come out, you know, in the 70s to save this country, you know, with these brigadiers this side. Me got jail feet, you know. One day me tell you, with Spy Robinson. The first person Spy Robinson come to me, and me, I shell gas station, and Texas gas station, and what you know.
Oh, yes?
Yes, I'm because Sasa Williams and Bobby Marsh. And then we invite Mr. Siaga about 2 weeks after Turkey Tower. Me and the first person, Colin Major.
Oh, you were...
Spy Robinson come to this Saturday. And they never get to see Bobby and Sasa. Then that was the plan of the state of the emergency.
Yes.
And they lock up Bobby and Pat Stevenson, come at church, come take out Sasa. Larry Choate was in charge of the whole operation. We know all the nastiness, but the outside force always influence them to go against America. Outside force, they never did have their own. We don't want a turmoil in the Caribbean. Make we and America have argument and quarrel. We don't want Chavez to go back and tell we hate America.
Yes.
Mutty. Mr. Perkins?
Yes.
Yes. Sometime next month, I'm going to look for you in the studio. I'm going to do some advertisement with you. So, good advertisement. You're going to get a lot of advertisement. I'm not tell you which one. So, enjoy the rest of the day.
All right. And you too. Okay, hello? 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 Hello?
Hello, Mr. Perkins.
Hi, Mom. How are you?
Yes, not too bad. And you?
Oh, could be worse.
Okay. I'm just calling to put across to you a few points.
Yes.
Well, as you have known that the wages have gone up by $400.
Minimum wage.
Right, it has increased. I'm a civil servant, right? And our pay is at a standstill. Right, I don't think that is fair on us because a lot of us have to pay those helpers,
Yes.
right? And some of us are single parents. The union, no, they have blackmailed us, being that they have their dues. They usually take like $100, and it has increased to $200, which is $300, which is 200%. So they said that they are representing.
Look here, I tell you what. Hold on. We'll take a number from you. We'll call you back after the news. All right? Okay? Okay, that brings us to time then for the midday news. We'll be back here in about 20 minutes. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online, and we go directly to our telephone. So, hello?
Hello, Mr. Perkins.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Yes, I was holding previously. Yes. As I was saying...
Oh, yes, I beg your pardon.
Right. Read the increase in the minimum
wage.
Right.
You're a civil servant.
Right.
You haven't got any increase.
No,
but you're going to have to pay...
Right. What about those who pay mortgages, have children to go to school?
Yes. Have
to pay those helpers and bus fare plus lunch. With this, we cannot survive on that, Mr. Perkins.
Marco, that increase in the minimum wage isn't all that much, is it?
It is much to us because we have to pay all these expenses.
Yes.
Chicken price went up. Right, in December, and it is now up again. These helpers, when they are at home, we have to provide them with food.
Yes.
They watch TV, they play radio, all of that. We are the persons who have to pay for those extra current that they burn, right? And our pay is at a standstill. That can't be right, Mr. Perkins.
Well, I have a problem with your pay being at a standstill. Right?
And inflation is soaring.
Yes, I know.
Everything, you go today to the supermarket to buy like an item.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you go back there, it's a different price.
Yes.
The government needs to do something about that. And we are suffering. And about the tax threshold. Right? We have not heard anything about that.
Yes, they have. No, they haven't done anything about it.
Right. So what do they expect us to do, Mr.
Well, I don't know, Mum. But Dr. Davis will probably tell you him don't have the money. Him need the money.
They have it to do otherwise, though.
I'm sure
they find it to do other things.
I'm sure that if he could see his way to doing it in this an election year, it would be done.
Mr.
Would have been done long
ago. They can
do
better. I am sure about that. They can do better. I'm positive about that.
They can do better?
Of course they can.
Better can be done. But can they do it?
They can, of course. What are they doing with our tax monies?
Oh, well.
They're not fixing any roads.
Transferring it from the poor to the rich,
And when they are getting increased, they get 100%, Mr.
Yes,
Mr. Perkins. That cannot be right.
Well, but as you allow it to happen?
We allow it to happen.
Well, not you personally, but, you among others, the Jamaican people.
Mr. Perkins, it was for me alone. There would be another government.
Oh?
Because in other countries where there's non-performance, people vote them out and put in somebody else to see what those persons have in store for the country.
So what are you saying? That in this country...
They don't have the country's interest at heart. They have their interest at heart, Mr. Perkins.
That's the government or the people?
The government. They have their interest at heart. They don't have the people of the country's interest at heart. They pay us little and nothing, and when they are taking their increase, you hear how much 100%
yes,
they get.
103.
And they get.
But the 103 wasn't the whole thing. The 103 wasn't the whole thing, you know. There was supposed to be some other increases.
But Mr. Perkins, the allowance that they get for the dogs, if the civil servants were getting that, they would have been quite okay.
The allowance that they get for what?
For their dogs.
Oh, for their dogs?
Yes. The civil servants would be quite all right.
The government get allowance for their dogs?
Yes, they get. And we can't send our children to school?
I never heard of that.
Okay. Mr. Perkins, I guess you're pulling my legs.
Eh?
I guess you're pulling my legs.
No, man, I never heard that they get...
about that?
I never heard of them getting allowance for their dogs.
Okay.
You heard of that?
That's what I heard.
Oh, no, man, I don't know. I don't know of that. Okay, hold on just a moment. Okay, thank you very much. Back online. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Perkins.
Yes, well, maybe the government will be generous and give you a raise in the coming budget. You don't think so?
That would be how long from now?
Well, that would be in end of March, April.
Mr. Perkins, that is too long. A lot of us gonna die.
Huh?
I guess.
Well, I don't know. But, I don't know, Mom. I don't know.
A lot of us are single parents, Mr. Perkins. A lot of us are single parents. And there's no negotiation going on this year.
Yes.
No negotiation.
Well, why have you talked to your unions?
Pardon me?
Have you people talked to your unions?
Mr. Perkins, they are like asleep.
Oh,
I don't know if they got some tranquilizer from the government.
Oh, the government gave them tranquilizers?
Yeah.
I see. I wondered about that, you know. Anyway, I strongly sympathize with you. All right?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
What's going on? You know, we have problems with our... Could we try somebody else? Could you try another line? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Could we try somebody else? Could you try another line?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Perkins.
Yeah. Look, why it took you so long, sir?
Yeah?
What happened?
No, man, I keep saying hello, and it seems as if you're not hearing me.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't hearing
Okay,
anything.
well, I the same little prophet man again, man. We have predict some little gloom and doom that people don't want to hear.
Oh, is that so?
The same, yes, man. The same man who, you remember I called you and tell you about the vision to the sea reaching close to crossroads.
About what?
The sea reaching close to crossroads.
Yes.
Yes. And it was a few months after that the tsunami happened in Indonesia, you know. But that wasn't the one I visioned because I personally visioned crossroads.
I see.
So that's why our one is in the making.
So what's...
you know, we have to...
We're going to have a tsunami here?
Yes. We're going to have it.
When?
Because recently, you know, I called Durban Malcolm program.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately after I came off the program, you know, about 5 different people came on to the vision, the same thing.
Oh, is that
there
so?
must be a reason why people go to bed and constantly visioning these things. The Bible itself tells you know, that in the last days, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Old men dream dreams and young men see visions. You know, some of the things will happen the way you see them. You understand? Even if it don't reach exactly up to crossroads, but it is going to be devastating. It means the sea going to really create a big impact somewhere on the city of Kingston. And if it destroy downtown, it means like Independence City and Harbour View, Portmore, the whole of those places would be affected. But I want to say something else about the government, because people fail to understand that wherever sin increase, the wrath of God increase. You understand? I heard that the days of Henry Miles and the Buccaneer, they used to gamble with all pregnant women, and one would say, I bet it's a boy, and the other say, I bet it's a girl. And how they prove that is to use a sword and rip the woman's belly open, and when the baby drop out, right? And that thing go on, and they rob other ships at the sea, take away the gold and silver, and pack it up at Port Royal, until, as you know, the history show that Port Royal was once the richest and the wickedest city on earth. With such a history, this country should be rich. Anyhow, one day, as the clock show, 11:45, God said enough is enough, and 2/3 of Port Royal gone under the sea. Now, why you think today, with so much blood running, and I'm not just talking about the gunmen, because the gunmen, as you said rightly on your program, no baby born a gunman. It starts through something. You understand me? Yes. And if the government provide the ways and the means and the avenues, perhaps a lot of these guys who turn gunmen would be something else.
Yes.
You understand? And especially this government, the way they govern the country for the past 17 years. I mean, it is a perfect recipe for breeding gunmen. You understand? Look at what happened since they're in power. So many factories closed down. And after the factories closed down and throw so much people out of a job, the alternative that the people seek, they go around and pressure them on the alternative. The alternative like robot taxis selling on the street. They pressure them, they try to get them off the road, and they themselves can't provide an alternative for them. So what do you expect to happen? You understand? A hungry man is an angry man.
Yes.
And I believe that the government is the main reason why we're going to get a terrible disaster in this country. Because under the PNP government from the 70s until now, we experienced the most atrocities under this present government. You remember the lionhead?
I'm in no position to argue against that.
Yes, sir. And you remember in the 70s, look what happened. Lionhead flower. It killed 7 people out of 1 family in St. Thomas. And I understand, I was a bit young that time, but I understand that Mr. Manley was saying that the flower came from Germany, poison. And the German government was threatening to sue him. And he must be shut up his mouth. You understand me?
Oh, yes, I do remember that.
Right. So, why so much bad things have to happen every time the People's National Party in power? Flower poison, Green Bay killing. Now, look at Eventide fire. I want to ask you this, Mr. Perkins. How much brigade station is in Kingston? Was in Kingston at the time when that fire took place?
Oh, quite a number. And there was one not too far down in Forest Street.
You don't believe that this is something that really needs some question?
Just below Calabar Avenue on the other side of the road.
The question that I'm asking, how is it a place that owns 160 had elderly people managed to burn flat, and not one of the brigade could reach there in time to save even 10? And I understand that before that, Castro came little before, and one of his statements, I don't understand Spanish, but people who understand Spanish say one of Castro's arguments is that in his country him not keep disabled people. And it's no time after Castro go back to Cuba, this Eventide fire took place. And it is clear that there was no urgency on the part of none of the brigade station. And nobody.
I don't know, sir. I wouldn't like to see it as deliberate, in that way.
You see. But it's funny, Mr. Perkins. It's funny. It's really funny.
Strange things happen, but
the brigade managed to put out bigger
until I have evidence of that, sir, I wouldn't. Until I have evidence of that, I wouldn't entertain it.
No, I'm not going to say they deliberately do it, But I mean, we have to look into things.
Yes.
And these atrocities constantly happening while the People's National Party in power. And let me tell you something. Never you underestimating them in any wickedness, because if they can send policemen in Tivoli Garden, and as you rightly said on the television,
you could see one of them in a high-rise building, holding the gun above his head, shooting into a community with women and children. A human being down there.
It wasn't just one of them, sir.
Right.
It was more than one.
Right. And you're firing into a community like that. And when it's finished, 27 people lay dead. Stay on the street till hog and dogs start to eat them flesh. And up to now they can't show where they capture 2 gunmen that you were firing after them. You understand? So you can't underestimate these people when it comes to wickedness. They will do anything. And I tell you, this bad vision that I constantly get in, it's going to come about through them. Them breed the gunman. Them breed all forms of disunity and corruption in the country. I'm not saying that the GLPs are here in jail because corruption going on for them time too, but not on such a wide scale. You understand? If you notice the GLP government, they were more interested in industry, to factories and to. And even though there used to be cheap labor, so to speak, in those times, but I mean the GLP managed to put more people to work.
Yes.
Yes, under the PNP government, you have more idlers, so you must have more crime.
A lot of jobs were lost.
Yes,
that's
every country where you have problems with economic decline and job loss, crime and violence must increase. Anyway, my credit is about to finish. I'm going to call you next time.
All right, all the best. Nice hearing from you. Okay, hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Hi, Uncle Mutty, how you doing?
Not too bad. Hi.
You're chirpy bad man.
Eh?
You're chirpy if you ever suck something out of silver spoon now.
No, man, the salt make you jump like that,
All right. What I want to talk about. Yesterday I was in the Ugly Park area.
Yes.
So while passing the health center down here, I saw a church sister from my church. And we were talking. And then said they have been coming to the clinic there from last year to pull out them teeth. Now, Mr. Perkins, the person who are sick is the one who needs physician. And regardless if your teeth is sick with, when your teeth rotten bad, it can affect your nerves and mash up everything. So you got it from last year to take out teeth, and from you going from last year until now, they are telling you that the seat that you are to sit into, let the dentist pull the teeth, it is not in service. And the people have been going there, coming. And up to yesterday morning, I took my ears and ear when the dentist come, but there was nothing because over 60 people were standing there. And when the dentist should come, them hook up and things like that. But the person who work along with the dentist, she arrived before the dentist, and she says, no, chair is not here, it's not working. I want to find somewhere else and go. No, Mr. Perkins, it's 3,000 or over 3 for you to take out a teeth at a private dentist.
Hold on just a moment. Okay, thank you very much. We're back on land.
Yes, Mr. Perkins. What I was saying is that not everybody can find the 3,000 or 3,005 or 2,005 to go and take out a teeth, because poor people, most of them are elderly people and things like that. And you have been going to a clinic from last year and they have been telling you, say, the seat that the patient to sit into is not it's not working. And you go and tell them that they must find somewhere else and go. Instead of, if you even put on a chair and tell them to hold back their head, you can't take out the teeth. And what is happening? Why can't a chair fix for the people to accommodate the people then?
Boy, I don't know, Mom. I don't know.
Mr. Perkins, to find 2,005 or 3,000, say some people can't find it.
I know.
Down there is $500 or $1,000 to take out jaw teeth and thing. I mean, I tell you the truth, some people cannot find it. That's why they are still walking from last year. Because teeth ache is not sweet. They wouldn't be feeling the pain so much and have the money and go take out the teeth.
Yes.
Something wrong. Them people, you're sick in them head.
Boy, I don't know.
It's rough.
Very,
don't you
very
think?
rough.
Very rough.
Very rough.
Another history I want to talk about, sir, is this lady the other night I saw down in the gully. When I saw her and her mother in the gully, as a sister to me.
You mean that's the one who
Sandy Park
lost
gully.
her house and didn't have anywhere?
Yes, Sandy Park gully.
Yes.
where she sit down. When I saw her there, I said, Lord, if I could help her, I would, because she's my sister, and our mother is my sister, because we all created from God. But what I am saying, couldn't somebody, 8 months she said she are there, couldn't somebody, if I could help her, I would. God know I would, because my heart go out and nobody knows what is going to happen to you. You see today, you don't see tomorrow. We don't know what is happening. I would ask somebody, because Jamaica people, some of them is very kind and sympathetic. But when I see it over the TV, I say, girl, God is going to come your way. God is going to send somebody to take you up out of the gully bed. Because they are not saved. They said they are threatened about raping. They throw down stone on them and things like that. And the girl says she's not sick, she's not mad. She's in her 5 senses. But, you know, the poor, God said the poor will be poorer and the rich richer.
Well, if you don't have it, you don't have it, you know. But let me ask you something. They lost the house, didn't they?
Yeah.
What
they
happened?
said they were driven out of the house.
Eh?
They said they were driven out of the house.
By whom?
Some people run them from where they was living.
Oh?
Was forced out of them house.
Oh,
that was what she says. And she says she has a sister in Meadowbrook. They may give her a little clothes and thing, but them don't want to house her and thing like that. But God is going to send somebody her way and take them up out of the gully, because they are not safe. But may I tell you something? God's word cannot lie. He said, the poor shall be poorer and the rich richer. And I am seeing it every day of my life. But God, He will smile at the poor, and He will work out something for them. It is hard, Mr. Perkins, because you know when you not work, because if them didn't have something, Mr. Perkins, they wouldn't down in a gully bed.
That's true.
They wouldn't down there. If them, she said she seek help, but there were no help. But I believe God is going to send help, and I only hope the government of this country might see it on the television and do something to help the poorer class of people.
You really believe that likely?
Huh?
You really believe that likely?
Well, them say them put poor people first, Mr. Perkins. So
you believe them?
Huh?
You believe them?
Well, so far, to be honest to you, I don't see it is happening. But them say so make we see what is going to happen.
All right.
Have a fine day, sir.
Mom,
you and
thank
yours?
You very much.
Bye.
Okay, hello?
Uncle.
Ah, wait, how are you?
Good afternoon, man.
Boy, afternoon to you. What's
How is
going on?
everything, my brother?
Eh?
How is everything?
Boy, I don't know how it will look to you.
Why, before I forget, and the people in the Ochiras Craft Market in the town of Ochi Cutmatsworth, they asked me to say hi to you. Especially a very good friend named Tony. In the Ochiras Craft Market.
Yes.
And if you tell Mr. Perkins his best friend
Yes.
And they listen to you every day, even when they can't get to talk to you.
Okay.
And you're well loved, dear.
All right. Well, tell them next time I'm anywhere near there, I'll make sure to pass on to them.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Perkins.
And give them my best regards.
Yes. I listened to the Breakfast Club this morning.
Yes.
And I saw a article in the Observer earlier on from Libby Simit.
For what?
From Libby Simit, man.
Oh, yes.
And I was listening to him and Trevor Manuel, Mr. Seaga, on the Breakfast Club.
Yes.
And I remember...
And Dr. Bottom was there too.
And I remember listening to the discussion. I remember going to school, they usually tell you about the motto and say, out of many, one people. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, man.
Out of many, one people.
You have difficulty remembering it?
No. The other day I saw on the TV where they were showing you hundreds of Jamaican line up at the American embassy in the broiling sun, trying to get visa to go to America.
Yes.
And then I also remember that when Omar Davis is floating a ban abroad to borrow money, he don't put on that where colors is concerned. The most important thing to him and Jamaica is to get the money to borrow to help Jamaica.
Yes, I think that he's getting a few spokes in his wheels now because, you know, this man who set up this company that they drove out of Jamaica, he's taking a lot of money out of the market.
Yes, that's true.
Right?
That's true. But the point
and I don't know what level. I'm told that he has been paying rates as high as
10% per month,
well,
which is 120% per year.
That sounds fantastic to me. But if that is what people are getting, or anywhere near that, then what interest rate is Dr. Davis going to pay to get people to put the money into government paper?
And not only that, the banks in Jamaica are crying out too. The banks in Jamaica are bawling out too.
Yes,
because I heard a very prominent banker saying that people is drawing out their money from his institution to go into this kind of investment. And it is, they are really feeling the pinch. But anyway, Mr. Perkins, the point I want to make, Mr. Perkins, Light B. Smith and Trevor Monroe is coming across to give the impression, Mr. Perkins, that the Jamaica Labour Party is a colored man party. And I am wondering if they are talking about a party which has somebody in it like Derek Smith, Pernell Jazz. Because certainly, Mr. Perkins, can you see anybody in the PNP as dark as Derek Smith and Pernell Jazz, who is in the Labour Party?
Well, if you say anybody in the PNP, sir, I think there are a lot of people as dark as that in the PNP. You don't think so?
Mr. Perkins, I am prepared, Mr. Perkins, to bet you that there is not one single member of parliament in the PNP right now.
Member of parliament, perhaps.
Right.
Member of parliament.
Right.
But it isn't all the supporters of the PNP that are members of parliament.
No, we agree with that. But I am just trying to put it that to say that the GLP is a colored man party was a very, very unreasonable comment. And I am not taking up for the GLP, Mr. Perkins. I'm just speaking generally, Mr. Perkins. To say that it is unreal, and you cannot say that about a party which have the darkest two members of parliament sit on their side, Mr. Perkins.
But I remember, you know, sir, in the early days, the Jamaica Labour Party was Quashi Party.
Yes! It was seen as the cane cut on the banana work.
All them kind of
party.
people. Yes.
Because I remember when I was a youngster, and certain people used to talk to you about parties. Then tell you if you're prepared to work, to cut cane and to cut banana, join the Labour Party.
But in any event, sir, we have gone beyond that.
We've gone behind that, Mr. Perkins.
We've gone beyond that.
You
right?
understand me?
And I would not suggest to anybody that he supports a political party on the basis of the color of his skin.
Exactly, Mr. Perkins.
Or of the color of the skins of the people who are, you know, who happen to be in the leadership of that party.
Yes, sir. Right. And if you look at the silvers of our money, like the 10 cent and $1 kind and so on, 20 cent, it is still out of many one people, Mr. Perkins. So we all one people.
Yes.
You understand?
Hopefully, although I'm not sure that is true. Hold on just a moment. Thank you very much. We're back online.
Yes, Mr. Perkins.
Yes.
It just sad, Mr. Perkins, that in the year 2007, we have people who you call political analysts.
Look here, sir. If you had a car and your car needed repairs,
yes, sir,
would you look for either the blackest or the whitest mechanic you could find?
For what, Mr. Perkins? I need the best mechanic to work on my car.
Whatever his color.
You understand me?
Right?
Yes. So
if you were ill and needed a doctor,
I want the best.
What are you going to do? Look for the blackest doctor or the whitest doctor you could find?
You understand me? So it just show you all these people. The next point.
No, what is happening? What is happening here? You see, is that there is, people have a concern.
Yes.
With race and color in this country, right? And the expectation is that if it can be said that anybody who is criticizing Sister P is doing so because they consider her of the wrong class, from the low class and therefore not fit to be prime minister, right? That the black people in this country will resent that and will vote for her, whether she's doing good or bad. Right?
Mr. Perkins, those things like those does not help countries, Mr. Perkins.
No.
We need the best people for the job, Mr. Perkins.
We need the best people for the job. Right? And if Sister P had been demonstrating a capacity to do the job and do it well, right? Well, remember we were told by the PNP's own pollster how 72% of the people were supporting her.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
No. He is telling you now, the party's pollster, that number is going down. Why is it going down?
Because she has shown so far, Mr. Perkins, that she's not able to do the job in which we want her to do. Mr. Perkins, my next point.
Yes.
We all agreed that we having a serious problem where crime is concerned. Crime.
Yes.
And people have been murdered every day.
Yes.
So far, the amount of people who have murdered so far for the year is more than the amount of days gone in the year so far.
Well beyond that.
Right.
Yes, far more than the number of days.
I don't know if you saw in the Sunday Cleaner where it had been said that the Ken Jones eardrum in Portland has been used by people for illegal landing. But Mr. Perkins, your program Perkins Online is always ahead of the other media entities, them news.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
Where you get that from?
Because, for instance, some weeks ago, Mr. Perkins.
Yes.
Mr. Vaz were on your program discussing to you of an open letter he writes the Prime Minister, complaining to her about the abandoning of the Ken Jones eardrum, and which it has been left for people, unscrupulous people, to abuse.
Yes.
It was on your program,
Yes.
Long before it come in the Cleaner. And now, Mr. Perkins, when the Commissioner and the Minister of National Security is saying that our sea line coast, Mr. Perkins, and illegal airstrips also, they are concerned and they are doing everything to avoiding drugs, illegal weapons and so to come in the island, Mr. Perkins. and nothing has been done, Mr. Perkins, to prevent those kind of activity, which there were one before, Mr. Perkins, and your same program, and to a open letter to the Prime Minister.
Well, it's one thing for the government to be told that these things are happening. It's another thing for the government to do something about it. Right?
Exactly.
And one gets the impression, sir, there was an item in the papers a couple of days ago.
Yes.
Where we're told that the government has a crime plan.
Yes.
And the crime plan was reviewed by the cabinet. But they've decided that they're not telling us any of the details of it.
Yes.
Right? Which sounds very odd. It sounds as if every now and then they come with a new crime plan.
Yes, sir.
And the new crime plan, the number of crime plans that they've come with, by now must have exhausted all the possibilities of crime plans. It sounds as if they have nothing to tell us, nothing to impress the people with. Right? They don't have a clue what next to do.
Because the question is asking, Mr. Perkins, how serious are these people about crime?
But look here, if an election is coming up this year, crime is one of the things that the people are most concerned about.
Exactly.
Right? If the government could give a hopeful message to the people, wouldn't they be happy to do so?
Yes.
Right? But they don't. Crime has been over many years under this government been getting worse and worse and worse. Right? In 1980, the election year, there were, I think, 365 persons murdered in the country. Right? That was a record. Right? It remained a record for another 16 years. Until 1996, when it went over 1,000 for the first time. Right?
1996.
Yes. Right?
Yes.
And since then, the situation has been getting worse and worse.
Worse and worse.
Right?
Because the crime were done last year, but still over 1,000 people were murdered.
Yes, and not only that. We are told about how many people were murdered.
Yes.
What about the number of persons that have disappeared? That nobody knows where they are. Right?
Yes. And you have to assume that at least 50% of those are dead.
Yes.
You understand? Because they claim they have a law in this country that if you miss now for 5 years, they still don't regard you as dead, but you can't be found.
Yes.
You understand? So, Mr. Perkins, I just glad to know that you remember that the government were one on your program. Of these things would have taken place at the Ken Jones eardrum by Mr. Darival.
Okay. Now, I was also told on this program that Mr. Dabdoob is going to be running for the PNP.
Well, did you saw that interview in the Gleaner yesterday with Mr. Dabdoob at the Gleaner, Mr. Perkins?
What did he say?
He is saying even if he does not get the candidacy for West Portland, he going to make it as his painter duty to be there campaigning vigorously against Mr. Vaz.
Yes.
But you get the impression from Mr. Dabdoo's interview with the Gleaner that he is going into the campaign with some form of hatred. Yeah, because you just get the impression that he's saying the GLP dumped me. I am bitterly against him.
Is that so?
That is the kind of impression I get from the interview. It was in the Gleaner yesterday.
Yes.
You understand me? Because...
So why is he taking it out on Mr. Vaz?
Because...
Why not campaign right across the island?
You see, Mr. Vaz is the person who is really somebody who have give the GLP party that extra gear. In the sense that the way he goes about doing things. And he have give the GLP party that extra gear. Not saying, not really know that other people in the party is not working hard, Mr. Perkins. But seem like how when a politician do bad, we crucify them. When they do good, we have to talk about it. But for bad news for Mr. Dabdo, not even a number 100 cousin he does not have in West Portland, or the entire parish of Portland. Nobody in Portland knows him. They heard about his name on your program when you and I mentioned him. And when the people in St. Catherine demonstrated against him as the worst member of parliament in Jamaica. So nobody knows about him. Mr. Perkins, as I prepare to go, Mr. Perkins, the President of America last night to the State of the Union. What is your comment on it?
Well, I tell you something. I missed it because I was waiting up.
Yes.
I missed the television news.
Yes.
Because I was listening to a program on CNN. Waiting for the president to come on.
Yes.
But I waited and waited and waited and ultimately fell asleep. But I gather he didn't say anything particularly spectacular.
Right. And the killing.
But I'm also told that there was a lot of applause during his speaking.
That's true.
Now, was this by Democrats or Republicans? Or
everybody, Mr. Perkins. Everybody.
Were applauding?
Yes.
I wonder what they're applauding. Even when he spoke about Iraq. Anyway, so thank you very much.
All right, Mr.
All the best to
Perkins.
you. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here, and we have some email as usual for you.
Yes, Mr. Perkins, this is from Bermuda. Dear Mr. Perkins, thank you very much for airing the problems concerning the death of the Bermudan in Jamaica. It is very sad. Thank you very much.
It's very, very sad, yes. Absolutely. Where is that from? Bermuda?
Yes, from Bermuda. Dear Mr. Perkins, class and colour are just symptoms of the reason people support one party over the other. The real cause is self-interest. A black man would have no problem supporting a white man or someone from another socio-economic class if he believes that he stands to benefit from it. This is just another subject for pundits to argue over. It has no effect on anything.
Except that some of the people who are putting forward the argument are hoping that it will have an effect. That people will say that if this person is being resented and rejected because of her blackness, then we ought to support her because of that. But her blackness isn't going to accomplish anything for you. What will accomplish something is her leadership, her vision, and her ability to put that vision into effect.
If you have not, this is just to you, I suppose, to Perkins Online. If you have not lived long enough in America to know better, you cannot speak to the healthcare system here. Everyone has to pay via Medicare, private care, employees, co-sponsor, or if you're rich, you just write a check. You pay according to your social situation. Each time you go to the hospital, you are asked, how will you pay? Then and there you let the receptionist know what kind of benefit you have. If you cannot pay, you will not be denied health care. So let nobody tell you that you can just walk into a hospital and get $1 million treatment for free. Not true. That's what the great healthcare debate is all about over here. That's what got Hillary Clinton in trouble when her husband was president, because she wanted comprehensive health care for all, regardless of their status. That's why Arnold Schwarzenegger is in trouble right now, because he has penned legislation. He has it as legit and two words. But it's really, I think he means legislation.
What?
It spells LEGIST, and then there's another word, RATION. That will grant health care to everyone in California. So stop the rubbish.
No.
You big mouth and encouraging your listener to talk rubbish. Get the facts first, because people other than Jamaicans are listening to you, and they're starting to wonder about your honesty and unbiasedness. Can you get Bruce Golden to discuss his agenda or his great leadership role?
Look here, didn't he say that if you're asked how you're going to pay, and if you cannot pay, you will not be denied health care?
Yes.
Right. Well,
that was the whole point.
But not only that, you must you mustn't write rubbish. You must compare apples with apples, sir. Right? What is the level of unemployment in the United States as compared to the level in Jamaica? What is the level of poverty in the United States as compared with that in Jamaica? There are people who earn what are probably considered middle incomes in Jamaica, that if they were in the United States would be regarded as poor.
Being below the poverty line.
Right, yes. The poverty line in the United States.
10,800, I believe.
I think it's more than that. I think it's about 13,000.
Oh.
Right? And but that would be about $1 million. No, not quite.
13,000.
About 700,000 plus 3 times 67,000. Not too far from $1 million, right? How many people in Jamaica are earning that? Anyway, people in the United States, far more often than not, have the means of paying for health care. Right? They're earning enough to pay for it.
Mr. Perkins,
and even then, if they can't pay, it won't be denied to them.
I have great news for you. You are the winner of 2 million euros. Euro Millions are affiliate of Belgium International. We are pleased to inform you of the result of Euro Millions, which was held on the 15th of January 2007. Your email address was attached to ticket number 1418344567 with prize number to match. You drew 2,000,009 euros. This lucky draw came first in the second category of the sweepstake. You will receive the sum of 2 million sum or authorized bank. Because of some mix-up with the sweepstake prizes, including the time limited placed on the payment of your prize of 2 million euros, we advise that you keep all this information about this prize confidential until your funds, 2 million euros, will be transferred to you by our bank. You must adhere to this instruction strictly to avoid any delay in the release of the funds to your person.
What is that about?
Your email address attached to ticket number. The program is sponsored and so on and so forth. You are to do the following things. Here is the contact. You must claim the prize of 2 million euros not later than 7 days after receiving this email. To avoid unnecessary delays, please furnish us with the following information: your name, your bank account number, your telephone number and fax numbers, your contact address, your winning information, including the amount won, your occupation or position in office. Congratulations in advance.
What the devil is that about?
It's one of these fake lottery things, isn't it?
One of the what?
Fake lottery things, fake sweepstakes things. You have to send them your
No. I don't know anything about that.
I know, but it's a joke.
Well,
somebody's they send them around all the time. It's kind of like spam.
Yes, well, I don't know about that one.
The purpose of this email is to reflect on the impact on terrorism, so-called, on the tourism industry of Jamaica. For example, I had 20 guests who had expressed an interest in visiting Jamaica in March or April to attend the ICC Cricket World Cup. Now, only 3 persons are going to come to Jamaica.
What?
The others are going to other Caribbean destinations because of the report they have been reading about law and order in Jamaica. First, it started out with a police officer adjourning a court in Spanish Town. Then the report on police corruption. And finally, the chief of police and the mayor having information about the accumulation of guns and apparently having no plan to collect these illegal weapons. The article below, which is attached, shows the derelict condition of Vancouver. Gentlemen, would you believe that the worst part of Vancouver can be compared to the most immaculate part of Cherry Garden? Kindly use your influence to stimulate the conscience of our politicians.
Well, I don't know. It seems to me to be a little late for them to be wondering about cleaning up Jamaica. I don't know.
Mr. Perkins,
they can get something done, but
Mr. Perkins, I think you should read Mr. Earl Ennis's letter to the editor, appearing in today's Business Observer. In it, he made a scathing attack on the Financial Investigation Division, which is an arm of Minister Davis's Ministry of Finance. The issue relates to the raiding of the offices of Olinc Limited last year.
You have it there?
I think so.
Just read it for us, then. I heard mention of it on a program this morning.
And Mr. Wonken.
Yes, and Mr. Wonken, David Wonken spoke about it.
Headline is, Ennis says Olinc raid was vulgar abuse of state power. Government Junior Minister and Parliamentarian Errol Ennis has blasted the state-run Financial Investigation Division for what, he said, was its Gestapo-like invasion of David Smith's Olinc office last year, describing the raid as a vulgar abuse of state power and highly reflective of the actions of a totalitarian state, unquote. Ennis, a state minister of agriculture, also said in a letter to the Observer that the raid was designed to destroy Smith's high-interest investment club, which he said should instead be encouraged as a possible boon to the Jamaican economy, although it has some inflation impact. Ennis's letter comes a few days after his colleague, Finance Minister Omar Davies, warned people who put money in alternative investment schemes that they're doing so without the protection of the state. Following is the full text of Mr. Ennis's letter. Dear Editor, the Gestapo-like invasion of David Smith's office last year, as conducted by the Financial Intelligence Arm of the Financial Investigation Division, was a vulgar abuse of state power. And, sorry about that, 7, 8. See it?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I haven't phoned.
You can't find the computer. Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll come back shortly.
Get this.
Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Very interesting letter that from from Mr. Ennis, and an indictment upon the government of which she is a member. Gestapo methods being used. Okay, totalitarian state. When fish come from river bottom and tell you, say, shark down there, you must believe him. Okay, incidentally, that letter about winning €2 million, I gather that is being sent to a lot of people all around the place. What they want is your bank account and your credit card number and so on. Right? Very dangerous. Don't respond to it, yeah? If you get a letter like that. Okay, hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perkins. First time on your program.
I'm happy to have you, Mom.
Yeah, thank you, and Happy New Year. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
Yes. I'm calling about the Registrar General. I applied for a marriage certificate from last year, June.
A marriage certificate?
Yeah, from last year, June. And I pay $1,550 for a 7-day program. Mr. Perkins, all no.
You haven't got it yet?
No, Mr. Perkins.
When were you married?
Pardon?
How long were you married?
It's 3 years now since I've married.
So what did they tell you is the
Mr. Perkins, I took up the phone today and I called them. This girl come on the phone. I said to her, I'm seeking about a marriage certificate that I have applied for.
Yes.
Asked me for the receipt number, give it to her. Hold on. Miss Perkins, hold on till I get dial tone in my ears. She hangs up on me. I call back again, Mr. Perkins. She answer. Repeat myself. She said, hold on. She hangs up on Mr. Perkins. You can hear them talking in the background. And then you hear the phone, bam.
You know, Mom?
Mr. Perkins? You understand?
Yes.
They can't deal with people like that, Mr. Perkins.
Well, they do deal with people like that because there are no consequences to them to doing it.
I have my license in my birth name. I would like to change it over. And I have certain business to deal with, Mr. Perkins, and I've been waiting for my marriage certificate. It's so here now. And it's 7-day service I pay for.
Well, the first thing that I would suggest that you do is write to them. Tell them that you paid for a 7-day service to get this marriage certificate, right? You did not get the marriage certificate, and therefore you want back the portion of your money in excess of an ordinary service. You follow me?
Yes, Mr. Perkins.
If you contracted with them to give you a 7-day service, they took your money for a 7-day service.
Yes, from June.
But have not delivered on that. Then they must pay you back the money. They can't keep the extra money.
Yes, and every day this lady come on the radio and she talk about this service and that the service, Mr. Perkins, and there's nothing happening. They're not getting through. Your business is spoiling while they're hanging up phone in your ears. They have no manners, they have no respect for people. You call them to find out your business and hold on and them slam down phone, hang up phone in your ears. Is that them pay them for over there?
Well, I don't know.
Treat poor people, Mr. Perkins?
I suppose the lady would say she was sent by God, you know, Mom.
Mr. Perkins, no, they want me to go over there, go tear off my clothes like when the lady did do and go on like my mad, just to get through, Mr. Perkins.
Well, but
my business is spoiled while I'm sitting on my marriage certificate and take my money, and my business is spoiled. No,
well, the thing is that they do these things. It costs them nothing to do it. Right?
Yes.
They keep getting money out of you. Next thing, they're going to supply you with a marriage certificate with the wrong name on it.
All right.
And then they're going to tell you that you have to pay to correct it.
Yes. And when you call over there, then give you attitude, like you're not supposed to call and complain about your business. Then give you attitude, and them hype Mr. Perkins and them go on, like them not have no respect for people. You understand? After you work so hard and you pay your money for put through your business.
I gather that there are some deeply religious people out there on that stuff, you know.
Mr. Perkins, I'm not gonna Mr. Perkins, I'm telling you, it really gets to me. From last year until now, Mr. Perkins, June come, it will be 1 year. And them say you must give a cell number. You leave a cell number, if they have a problem, them could call you, could come in back, right? Nobody calls you. It's joke thing if you give them a cell number. Can you give them and then say they will get in contact with you, miss? And nobody calls. If they have a problem, they will get in contact with you. And nobody calls them, Mr. Perkins. And then them talk about them put this on them poor people. These poor people, nothing at all. Poor people are suffer. Poor people are suffer, Mr. Perkins.
Yes.
Under this government and this system, oh, we're going to survive. We can't cope. We can't cope under this every day, Mr. Perkins. When it's not this is there, and them jump about them, this and them jump about them, that, Mr. Perkins.
Yes.
No, man, Mr. Perkins, getting out of hand. Mr. Perkins, thank you very much, y'all.
Okay, Mom.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Good day. Mr. Perkins.
Yes, sir.
You see the amount of canna we have in this country,
the amount of what?
The amount of canna. Generalship. You know, see the one come general, you know.
Eh?
You know, see the one general.
Yeah.
Take boy, you go in here and rear your credit. They want to find out your business.
Yes.
Yes,
so.
Mr. Perkins.
It's all right. Make them go on, say. It's all right. Eh?
No, them boy, they trouble the radio. Yes, man. They want to go on and general people all the while.
Yes.
Like how them are doing for general and also election.
Maybe they ought to become politicians.
Yes, man. They want to change their speech.
So what's happening?
They want to watch them when they are going with, you know. But I went to watch yesterday and the people them about the taxi man them about it, they don't know where they get this a fresh prince from. And this a fresh prince like 1 woman pound we and them a kill we after now. They're gonna run.
Them don't know where them get what?
Do they know where they get this fresh prince from?
The what?
The fresh prince, man. The fresh prince. Yes.
Oh yes.
Then get a fresh prince. And the fresh prince match them up. And the fresh prince pass over 1 woman to them.
Hold on, look, we're in deep trouble in this country.
They don't know what we do now, Mr. Perkins.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so they don't know what we do now.
We're in deep trouble in this country.
They don't know what we do now, Mr. Perkins.
Deep trouble.
I have some people, most of them will attack now, you know, Mr. Perkins. A PNP them, you know, attack now, you know.
Oh yes?
Even I tell you, man. Come here and most of them move together. And some of them I say, yes man, 2 years attack man, a long time you not attack, but me didn't know where I say. Anytime me trouble catch me, nobody no see.
Yes.
But when time me friend for me in trouble now, me have to see it for myself. Yes man, all the bad things are going on now. Mr. Perkins. Well, you have a tape that play all the while about Miss Portia Simpson, you know. More you play tape later.
Which one that?
The one where him say vote where him going to do for poor people when you're in a power.
Oh.
And make the poor people then realize where him say, because sometimes you talk and say, I don't know how you go.
When she was becoming Prime Minister?
Yes, man, yes. When talk where him going to do to poor people them.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can play the tape that make people hear.
All right, I'll look for it, eh?
Yes, man, go and play at the time, man. If I have 2 times a day, you play.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. And you know that tape of Sister P's inaugural speech? We found a clip from it. Let's hear it.
I come to the office of Prime Minister with a profound sense of my obligation to the people. Only with the help of the Almighty God can I carry this weight of trust and hope that is placed on my shoulders. I will not betray this trust, and I will keep hope alive. All across Jamaica, there's this hope, this positive expectancy, this hunger to believe that a new day is dawning. You can almost touch it. It is not an expectation that any one individual can fulfill, but together we can make it. My role as Prime Minister of Jamaica will be to use this high office to facilitate change. Today, I want to commit myself to certain goals. The first pledge to the Jamaican people is to advance human rights and individual liberty. Each individual is sacred. None is more important than the other. Money should not make one person more important than the other. Learning should not make one person more important than the other. Nor should class, color, or gender. We are all equal in the sight of God. Ladies and gentlemen, while the state has a responsibility to protect the society as a whole, it must never, in the execution of that responsibility, sacrifice individual liberty. We cannot build the harmony and peace that this society so desperately needs unless all Jamaicans know that they will be treated with dignity and respect. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamaicans, we need to recapture our roots, the courtesy, the decency, the good manners, and trust which were routinely practiced. We need to rekindle those tested and proven values. We must practice them ourselves and demand them from others. I want to continue to lead a process for the recovery and promotion of our best values. I pledge to the Jamaican people to work tirelessly to eradicate corruption and extortion. Both of these diminish our economic potential, and I am of necessity committed to their eradication in the same way that I am committed to the upliftment of the poor.
Okay, there you have it, sir. That was Sister P speaking at King's House. I wonder what progress has been made along those lines. I am not aware of it, but anybody who knows would like to come and tell me on this program. I'd be very happy to hear it. Okay, hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Perkins.
Yes, sir.
I tell you.
What you laughing about?
Oh, you're playing over the inaugural speech.
But wasn't it a great speech?
Yeah, it was a great speech.
Eh?
It was a great speech.
Yes.
Especially human rights.
To advance the human rights of the Jamaican people.
And corruption.
And to get rid of corruption. To work tirelessly to remove corruption.
I can't help myself.
What you laughing about?
You know what is funny?
Eh? Funny?
After how much months, I can't do it because of laugh.
That is a great speech, man. That's a great speech.
Mr. Perkins, anyway.
You're not happy that you're not happy that you and all the people around you have their human rights protected now.
I'm scared to go out on the road right now. I'm scared.
Why?
I'm scared both of the gunmen and the police. I don't know which one worse.
Don't joke. That's not possible.
But what are you talking, Mr. Perkins? We don't have no rights in Jamaica, no.
Where you get that from?
We have no rights in Jamaica.
No,
police come in your place and box you down and kick you down.
Oh, man.
There is nothing that
is no longer possible in Jamaica, sir. Sister P has removed all of that.
You love the mix-up, though, Mr. Perkins. Mr. Perkins, what I wanted to say to you was the person that spoke, the lady that called today, and she was, as usual, everybody calling about resources and what is not happening.
About what?
The resources of the country and what is not happening, roads and and all of that.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if it's not apparent to them by now that the corruption, especially spoken of from the Auditor General's report, where millions of dollars are being drained and siphoned from the public purse, filtering into the pockets of public servants, where there's no justification for work done, travel done, nothing at all. Lawyers, millions of dollars for work nobody can justify. Isn't it apparent to the people of Jamaica by now that is why there's no money left in the country? People are asking, what about with taxes? They don't read the papers. The problem is that we read the papers and we hear it now. But what do we say? Boy, I saw it go. And that is what we comfort ourselves with. But on the other hand, the next day you're going to call Mr. Perkins and tell him that the road is this and you can't get no health service and the minimum wage is low while the trade union, inflation. People of Jamaica, you have to understand what you're facing now.
Yes.
You're facing a corrupt government that has filtered the resources of the country.
But look here, sir.
And this has been happening. It's every year the Accountant General. Mr. Perkins, read back some of the report then with the Accountant General right now.
The Auditor General.
The Auditor General. So they know that it's not a one-year thing.
Yes.
These things have been going on for years.
Yes, quite true.
For years. People of Jamaica, you have to wake up now. We will not be any better
for years.
By getting promises of improving situation.
But look here,
sir. Better by performance.
Here is a simple example, right? We just had a call a few minutes ago from a lady who said that she had paid for...
Mr. Perkins, after run. After run, you can continue talking.
All right, good. Paid for a marriage certificate from the RGD. This was, I think she said, in June of last year. And all now she hasn't got it. Right? Now, complaints almost every day. We get such complaints from people. Right? And the government of Jamaica must be aware of it. And what has been done? So far as can be seen, absolutely nothing. Right? They're taking advantage of people, taking their money, undertaking to deliver to them within 7 days or whatever it is. They totally ignore it, collect the money, it goes doubtless into the consolidated fund. But no performance of what they contracted to perform. Right? Now, is that right? You're talking about protecting the rights of people? What is happening about that? You don't know anything about that, Sister P? Okay. Okay, hello?
Hello.
Yes?
Mr. P?
Yes, hi.
How are you doing?
Not too bad, how are you?
Not too bad. I'm in there, hanging on in there. You know, but there is things that make me laugh, you know.
Yes.
But I have one here for you, and it's only one. I've got a letter here. 23 years ago, I I have it from 1984. I got it from the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation Radio and Telegraph Center, 5 South Odeon Avenue. You're telling me about class and color. But I want you to clarify something for me. I want you to tell me what you call lower middle class. What bracket that is. I was listening to the Breakfast Club this morning.
Yes.
And that came in lower middle class. What is that?
Hold on just a moment for me. Much, we're back online. Hello?
This is the P.
Yes.
I listened to the spinning club this morning. And everybody, they were in the happy this morning as to spinning. The spinners put me in the mind as sitting down at Old Trafford and said, Big Jim Laker from Surrey getting 19 wickets on Old Trafford.
Yes.
In Manchester. 19 wicket Jim Laker got. In all fairness, this morning on the club, the big spinner never said much. But the other spinner, the professor of spin, he was in his hockey. The governor from Montego Bay, oh God. The problem we are in India, the wind is in. You could have easily pick up one of them other three. The Don Robotham, that is. He's far all over the place. And one thing they're all unanimous on is that Jamaicans don't care about corruption.
Oh, they said that?
The whole of them said it.
I didn't hear that part.
Don Robotham said it, and everybody acquiesced. Everybody else agreed that corruption is not the big thing.
Including Mr. Siaga?
He agreed. Corruption is not the thing.
Oh, is that so? Very interesting.
They put corruption in the background. Corruption that has brought this country to the scourge of Africa. Corruption that put it in the background.
But it seemed to me that the whole point of the argument was that Sister P was being sort of
promoted, highlighted, put in on a pedestal.
Oh yes, but I mean,
am telling you,
what she was saying, what was being suggested, was that her critics, were motivated by class prejudice,
by class, and somebody interjected color.
Color, yes.
Yes.
Class and color prejudice.
I have to defend in my very family. With my family, close family, when they hit out against Mr. Edward Philip George Siaga about his color, I have to stand up and put the achievement that is brought in this country. And when I hear this morning, it makes my blood boil. It pains me.
Well, very odd that he should be among the group that
in all fairness, when they wanted him a couple of times, he took a running out tablet.
I got that impression.
He took a running out.
Yes.
He ran under the radar when they wanted him a couple of times. And you can that he wasn't seen on the screen.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, this morning, and I go and search for this letter, and a man did it, and it has only endeared me to that man 23 years ago. We have a man just resigned, just left as Governor General named Mr. Howard Cook. And I condensed this letter, but I have it before me. He went to a PNP fundraising meeting and he says it's time black people took over this country. It is time they take over this country and run it. And I read the first line for you because the person who replied to him said, if Mr. Howard Cook were desperately ill and the medical specialist most likely to be able to save his life were right, if the specialists were right, I doubt very much that the fact of his whiteness would prevent him going to see that doctor. You get it?
Yes, I read it.
And it goes on. That goes on to say, if this man, Mr. Cook, wanted a lawyer, a very good lawyer, would he go looking for this lawyer by the color of his skin? And he goes on again about the color. He says he knows, that man, Mr. Cook, knows that the civil servant in this country is 95% black. The policemen are 95% black. And why should he pander to this foolishness telling us about black people take over this country? He knew they took it over from 1962. The fact that they're making an ash of it is neither here nor there. But you know why he interjects that blackness? Because he knows it will win him votes, and black people think very little of themselves. This is the gravamen of the letter. And this letter I sent to the JPC for it. And it's dated the 18th of the 7th, 1984, for broadcast by a man named Wilmot Perkins.
Oh my gosh.
I am proud of it.
You know, that man is a bit of an idiot.
That man, this letter here has endeared me to him. When I heard that letter, I said, where was this man hiding all the while? Where was he hiding? The man completely threw a spanner in the workers, the color business. Right here, you can get a copy because it might take you too long to find it. 23 years ago, and it's signed by the general manager. When I heard the comments, I said, no, I must send you a copy of this man. And I did it because I have a son, what they call half-caste. You understand?
Yes.
I have a son they call half-caste. Some people who are listening to this program might not know half black and half white.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
And when you debunk this myth here, this stupidness that Mr. Cook says, he never dreamt that he would become Governor General of this country. He never dreamt that. He has come, he has been the representative of the Queen, and he has gone off like a knight in shining armor. He has left, he has done his stint, only to discover that your schoolmate was a prophet of God. He found that out.
Yes.
But he did his term and he went. I don't owe him any ill will. I don't owe him any ill will. But when they start interjecting this color business and class business, where they are taking us back to a new law again. I only business with who is running this country properly.
Yes.
That's all I'm concerned with.
Absolutely, sir.
All the nay. I am concerned who is running my country properly. I went to Sabina Park 1948, and I can name it the whole team. When Ken Cranston took ill from England, he died week before last at the age 89. England, oldest cricketer. And Gobby Allen took over. I was there when Everton Weeks got his first pick. This country is in turmoil because black people. And you know, I met a man one day, you know what he said to me? I hear your voice already. And you sound like a rich little red man. I said, no, that you see me. Do I look like a rich little red man? You know me, Mr. Perkins. Have I have anything near red?
No.
And here these people interject this morning about color this, color that.
Yes.
It makes my blood boil. That is all I got to say today. But I have more to come because in searching my archive this morning, I found a book on the solid achievement. I'll go refresh and come back to you another time.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All the best to you.
Good, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, hello?
Brother P?
Yes, hi. How are you doing?
Clearly?
Eh?
You hearing me clearly?
Yes, I hear you clearly.
I have a sad story to tell you. It might sound funny, but it is true. Tuesday night as I was watching the news on TV, I see a classroom that was filled up with shaving cream. It wasn't clean. It's a good thing Mr. Perkins was not there on the seat. Were you watching the news on TV Tuesday night, Mutty?
No, Tuesday night. That's last night.
Yes, last night.
No, I missed it.
Night.
I was waiting to see for the presidential.
Yes.
What do you call it? The speech he made in Congress yesterday.
Oh.
Last night.
You mean Mr. Bush?
Yes, Mr. Bush.
Oh.
I was waiting to hear it, and they kept, telling us that it would soon be on, and this, that, the other, and then eventually I fell asleep.
Oh, So what you mean?
So I didn't hear that, and I missed post newscast.
Boy, Mutty, I see them show a school up the line, the man. I see them show a school up the line there.
Yes.
Where them say, boy, dog, filled up in it. You know, see it?
Yes. But worse than that is another case where two little children, fell into a pit toilet.
Oh?
This happened some months ago.
Boy, I tell you. Mutty, before I get into some other important matters, I would just humbly beseech thee to allow me to ask one Mr. Roy Clark, who is
Roy
Clark.
Roy Clark?
Yes, who is believed to be somewhere in Manchester, to get in contact with his brother, Eugene Clark. The matter is very important. So delicate a situation, I can't even mention it.
Okay.
But time is of the essence.
Yes.
Anybody knowing the whereabouts of Roy Clark? He used to work with Gardman. Tell him to call 849-1452.
849?
Yes. 1452. Yeah, man. Brother, they are Black River, you know? Another thing, Mutty. Week after week, every night I watch the news. And from time to time, I am saddened when I see the farmers who out there have to work so hard.
Yes.
The 2-foot pussies, them reaping havoc upon the farmers, Mutty.
Yes.
Can you imagine this man in Littic St. Elizabeth having 19 head of goat? Them say, boy, I have to depend on the goat for buying little medication from time to time. And within one night, all 19 head of goat gone, Mutty.
Oh, hell.
You think a little Joe water some people have
Yes, well, there's a man with the donkey, too.
Two rocks, two, and you didn't see that one on the TV one night? You know, Mutty, is that a laughing matter, you know? Is that a laughing matter?
No.
But can you imagine you tie up a donkey on the tree, and when you go back for the donkey, all you find was the 4 foot, the head and the tail?
Well, imagine you going to the market to buy beef.
Well, it would be unfortunate if after you're near me, you find out where you really am.
Yes, indeed.
I realize that you cannot correct it.
Anyway, thank you very much.
We'll speak again.
All the best to you.
Respect.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Oh, okay, we're taking a break. We'll come back shortly. Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. Okay, there's an item in the Observer this morning about the Auditor General's comments on the ONR, the Organization of National Reconstruction. We're just going to read it from the Auditor General's report, the full text of it.
Yes, it's on.
I hope it is not too long for us not to be able to read it.
No, it's...
Okay. Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
It's Office of National Reconstruction, ONR.
Run by Mr. Danville Walker. He's the head of it.
The audit of the financial transactions and accounting records of the captioned agency disclosed the following matters of concern. 1. National Contracts Commission approval. There was no indication that 6 contracts, each valued over $4 million and totaling $58,738,791 were approved by the National Contracts Commission as stipulated in the public sector's procurement guidelines. Payments totaling $7,568,055 were made on valuation certificates, which at the time of the audit were not signed by the quantity surveyor. It could therefore not be determined whether the work paid for was properly valued. 3. At the time of the audit, annual returns for NHT and NIS salary deductions were not submitted for the calendar year 2005. This could adversely affect employees' access to certain benefits. 4. There was no evidence that the requisite approval was obtained from the Ministry of Finance and Planning for the emoluments paid to the entity's employees. 6. Bank recommendation arrears. The early detection and prevention of possible errors and irregularities was impeded, as reconciliation of the recurrent bank account was 7 months in arrears, while a joint account had not been reconciled since its opening in January 2005. The entity was asked to bring the reconciliation up to date at the earliest possible time. Cashed checks for $3,104,476 drawn on the recurrent bank account were reportedly not returned by the bank, but there was no evidence that it was notified of this omission. In the absence of these cashed checks or microfilm copies, the reconciliation of the account could not be satisfactorily concluded. Neither could the payees be verified. Management was advised to rigorously pursue this matter with the bank. 7. There was need for stricter control over the entity's fixed assets, as the requisite inventory control records were not maintained and items of furniture and equipment were not suitably marked. The absence of proper fixed asset records and control procedures could undermine management's ability to properly safeguard its assets.
That's it?
That's for the ONR, but there's a small one here about the Social Development Commission.
We've heard worse.
Up to the date of this report, a review the Economic Enablement Project. A view of this project indicated that government's procurement guidelines were still not being strictly complied with. Several payments continue to be made on estimates and pro forma invoices. This could lead to improper disbursement of public funds. The Commission subsequently advised that steps were being taken to address this concern.
What commission is that?
Social Development Commission. Social Assistance Program. There was no indication that beneficiaries of the Social and Economic Support Program and Education Assistance Program were assessed by competent government officers to have met written specified qualifying criteria. It was observed that in one instance, an education benefit of $158,000 Jamaican was approved by a project officer attached to the SESP unit in the office of the Prime Minister, who was said to be a close relative of the beneficiary. There was no indication that this transaction had obtained the scrutiny and sanction of any superior officer. It was also noted that contrary to the requirements of Ministry Paper 29/99, the disbursement was made to a commercial bank and transferred to an account held by the project officer instead of being paid directly to the educational institution. It was also noted that an education grant of $342,000 awarded to another beneficiary was approved by the same project officer and the amount transferred to the same account. Both accounts were subsequently remitted to bank accounts of the beneficiaries. And it continues.
Okay, all right. Okay, we're running out of time. Let's get in a call before we go. Hello?
No.
Hello?
Hello, yes, sir.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perkins. And as a matter of fact, Happy New Year as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay. My concern has to do with the schools all around the country, especially the country areas. What is the minister or the Ministry of Health doing about this sort of thing? Because I would imagine that their responsibility as ministers, whether for health or for education, should be to go to every school in the island and see what the conditions are and then do something about them, rather than listening to whoever is advising them, because if they're getting advice, then trust me, those advisors should never be paid. I mean, the condition that I saw up to last night at a school in the country area there. I mean, no, man. I mean, that is from 1901. That's 1901 level.
No, sir. No, sir. In 1901, the schools were not in that condition. I don't think.
Boy, I don't know. So what do they do as ministers, whether education or health? Because I don't know which of them really.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they will tell you.
All they do is sit down in air conditioned office and sign papers based on what some advisor report to them. Guys who have never been into any of those schools. Or any of those areas. As a matter of fact, it also has to do with police stations. They are also suffering from the same sort of bad conditions.
Well,
so we want to call on the relevant authorities. Let me use that word. To get out of the air conditioned office, get into the heat and what is going on behalf of the people.
Yes.
That's why we have elected you. I am so mad, Mr. Perkins. I don't even know if I want to watch TV this evening.
Yes, I tell you.
Oh, I tell you.
It is in a bad condition. The country is in a bad state.
Bad is an understatement.
You could as well say that the Ministry of Roads and Work, Ministry, whatever it is called, of Works.
They must go there and see what
should be going out there and driving on these bad roads.
They can't sit down in your condition office and attend to the people, man.
Yes, well, I don't know. You seem to put a good cast a good image on it, you know. It's just that they're sitting down in air conditioned offices.
You see, in Jamaica, the only time you get anything done these days, especially from this administration, is when you go out there on Black Road and all that sort of thing. And I'm not into that.
Yes.
I think that if we elect people, there should be.
But look, sir, even when people go out there on block roads, what comes out of it?
Nothing, not a thing. It's a 1 day or 2 day talk.
They block the thing 1 day, 2 day, then them tired and go home, go lie down, sleep. Right? And what happens?
These people, they don't care about us, man.
No.
We need something to be done on it, and it better be done before election call too.
Well, I don't know. If it's done before election call, what are you going to do?
If it's not done, then we're going to have to go out there and demonstrate to them our lead the way, so as we can enjoy what we ought to have been enjoying all over these years.
I see. And if it is done before election day, what? If it is done before election day, what then?
Well, I will come back. And say thanks.
I see what you mean. All right, so thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Perkins.
Okay. Hello? Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr.
Hi,
Perkins.
how are you doing?
Oh, not bad. And Mr. Ennis talk about Gestapo treatment.
Yes, and
by that agency
and the totalitarian state, did he say?
Yeah, man, when you say alligator coming from the river bottom, because Mr. Ennis was a member of Team Portia, you know.
Yes, indeed.
So you couldn't say he's a solid as a rock team undermining the Prime Minister. Anyhow, with the JPS report that many well-to-do companies are stealing electricity even more than the people in the ghetto.
Yes.
Those foreign investors who withdraw from the free zone, etc.
Yes.
If they didn't know how to beat the system in Jamaica, then maybe we would have had a lot of factories. Because they run away due to the high cost of the electricity. Due to the devaluation perpetrated by this government.
Look here. Are we going to take that statement coming out of the Public Service Company at face value?
No, sir, but you know what is interesting?
Hold on a little bit. Stealing electricity is a criminal offense.
Of course.
And if they have evidence that firms are stealing electricity, and to the extent where it is costing, what was the figure that they gave?
Then they gave 1 3 million the other day for
financial
institution.
No, they gave a figure. 36 million or something like that. US dollars?
I don't know if they're US or Jamaican.
I don't know. But some huge figure of money, right? If they have that evidence, if they know that people are robbing them to that extent, why haven't they called in the police?
They come in like they're stockpiling a gun.
Look here, I have to go. We're out of time.
All right.
Sorry about it. Okay, that brings us to the end of Perkins Online for today. We'll be back hopefully tomorrow, usual time and place, and we look forward to your company then. So long.
You've been listening to Perkins Online on Power 106. Join us again tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. for yet